Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Fableforge RPG live with the Red Opera Tuesday before Thanksgiving. Before I forget, which I will forget, happy Turkey Day to everybody who celebrates it, and happy Thursday to everybody who does not. No major announcements tonight. Please do remember that we have Extra Life going, so donations there to New Orleans Children's Hospital are very much appreciated. And don't forget about Patronic Inspiration to help your favorite player or hinder your least favorite DM in moments of crisis and support the channel while you're doing it. It'd be very, very much appreciated as well. And last but certainly not least, if you enjoy your time here, bring your friends along for the journey. We'd love to have them with us, and having more people as a part of Fableforge is kind of the goal. We want to make this as big and wonderful as possible for everybody involved. So your effort there is likewise appreciated. So I didn't ask this because I'm a horrible streamer. Does anybody have any announcements? Not that anybody's going to top Sammy's last week, but we could try. Anybody? No? Yes?
We got engaged again.
That's called a twofer.
I don't know if that's actually better or worse, honestly. That's
Wait, did I still make the cut for the wedding party? Or...
This time,
yeah, you're all right. You're right.
This time she made me cry.
You need two dresses now. All right, you need to get it together.
Okay, noted.
Okay. Well, absent any announcements, nothing else going on except for the amazing session we have tonight. I'm looking forward, so let's jump into tonight's session of the Red Opera. This is where the screen fades off. See, I was so excited about that, I lost my music.
We need a transition for that.
We do. Well, I need to get the trailer up. So, my friends, after defeating Thuldus, the strange abomination assaulting Yon'Cath and attempting to ascend to become a patron itself, you made your way out of that abandoned, decrepit warehouse straight through a time anomaly into present time Yon'Cath. You rushed forward with a sickened Katori in tow to the nearest accursed guard to attempt to seek help for Katori and also find your contacts, Lieutenant Jaren and others in the accursed guard, to get this bounty, this restriction lifted off your head, and also claim credit for saving the city. You are whisked away to the Gilded Gallery where you met with Lieutenant Jaren, explained yourselves to his amusement and wonder, and then bedded down for the evening to get some much needed and much deserved rest. Of course, Katori was also healed in the process. When you all awoke together, it seemed to be, based on your internal clock, about mid-morning, and there was a spread of food in the common area outside your communal rooms. You ate some breakfast and attempted to descend the stairs to find somebody to talk to proceed on your mission, and found yourselves right back in your bed. This time loop was quite the puzzle before Phelan found a small gem hidden beneath a platter in the center table upon which all the food was spread. You tried destroying it, that didn't work. You tried going back and forth in time before that and even killing one of the Tiors, and that didn't work. But one by one, you touched the gem and disappeared from sight of your fellow friends. Last person to grasp the gem in full faith, or at least knowing that they would share the fate of their compatriots, your vision turns. Standing around you in the center room, you see a thick, opaque glasses, short, dwarvish woman by the name of Horan Brickfoot. You also see an clearly exhausted Lieutenant Jaren off to her right-hand side. Off to Corin's left, you see an unknown figure to you. He is tall and slender, wearing the armor of the accursed guard. He has a very hardened and kind of wizened look to his face. He's an elf, a male elf, by as far as you can tell. His right ear is kind of missing the top piece with a vicious-looking scar, not caused by a blade, but maybe a slice of arcane energy that disappears down below his armor past the neck. And his head is shaved on the sides, except for this thick streak of short brown cropped hair going from the front to the back. However, standing closest to you, and you're all kind of forming a little bit of a semicircle around you, noting that you're standing in exactly the same position you were when you touched the stone. You see a dark blue, long-cloaked, hooded figure. His hands are manipulating the similar stone, except it is existing in a space roughly equivalent to where that tabletop was in air, as it's being manipulated, and arcane energy is pulsing from it as this stony-skinned individual manipulates it. Looking upon his face, the bright blue energy flecking across, you can see he's almost as though a statue, except the stone itself is kind of cracked a bit, like you would see on the interior of a cave wall. He has a beard, which seems to be made of thick, dark green lichen, and his eyes are two multifaceted, brightly colored, rainbow-colored opals. As the last individual comes through and stands there in the present time around each of you, the gem cracks and the arcane energy dissipates with a flourish, where the gem itself crumbles to dust and sinks to the ground.
Jacques!
Apple?
Apple.
Apple.
Butternut squash?
Oh, it's totally apple.
Oh, is it pineapple? I think I missed this part.
Draw's blade.
Hello?
You call out the Earth Genasi warlock, wearing a long silver pendant around the cloak with a stopwatch type magical focus around his neck. His arms fall to his side and he looks up, and without a word, he takes a couple steps back as Lieutenant Jaren and the elvish figure come front and center in front of you. Lieutenant Jaren addresses you. Well, it's about time. Kind of wondering if this is going to work or not.
About time for what?
Yeah, I'm sorry, you did this.
You trapped us in that hell.
Whoa, no. Our friend Duranton here saved you. He assured me it could be done, and so it is. I guess I was impatient.
You
I
better start
anticipated you'd
talking,
be back
Jaren.
soon.
What happened? Why were we there? Well, multiple theirs. Why were we in the... Why?
I don't know what you were doing any more than you do. I know it was an anomaly, and it was centered on this building, and I sent for Duranton and Corin, and, well, here we are.
Were you
What
in
happened?
were you in a time loop too?
No, thankfully I was not. We were out... Sorry, were you going to say something?
Yeah, we were looped. We woke up. We couldn't go downstairs or upstairs. We were just stuck on the floor. And if we tried to go up, we went into an alternate reality where we were waking up in our beds. If we tried to go down, we went to an alternate reality where we were waking up in our beds. Some realities, I died. That was nothing.
Rather
fun.
fascinating.
Technically, that was just one reality. Just the one.
Perceived. Perception is everything. It was clearly he's fine.
He
I
was
look over.
definitely dead.
But he's not.
But he was. Let's not talk about that right now.
Of course.
As you're talking, Jaren was listening, and he looked over his shoulder as you were explaining what had been happening at Duranton. Duranton met his gaze and just kind of slowly shook his head left to right. And Jaren turned to face you as you were finishing talking. Well, it wasn't us. It was an anomaly. Like I told you before, we've been having more of them.
Insight check.
I want to insight check the warlock dude. I want to know what that head nod. I want to know what that head shake was about.
Where's my
Okay.
insight? Or a 1.
Okay. So
That's a
shaved
12
hair.
insight for me.
And Phelan, yours was a natural 20 for a total of
21.
All right. What are you trying to discern, Caitlin?
I
Anything in
want to
particular?
know. I want to know specifically whether or not he's lying about not knowing where this is coming from.
Who is lying?
Jaren. Because he said that it's just an anomaly. I want to know if he actually truly believes it's just an anomaly or if he knows something that he's not saying.
Okay. I would say between him turning his head to look at Duranton and the fact that he is acting more nonchalantly than maybe these random time anomalies would have what you would consider a normal person to be reacting. He seems to there seems to be something else he knows or is aware of or is affecting his attitude toward it. You trying to discern, Ona?
I am trying to discern what the head nod was about. Like, or like the shake, when he was just like shaking his head no at Jaren. I want to know what that was about, why he was shaking his head no. Like, did he think we were crazy?
Okay. It obviously seemed like a silent question of some type. Now, you remember the way that Jaren was looking at you and the kind of disingenuous appearance to his face and the way he was reacting while y'all were speaking and explaining it the night before. But he doesn't have that same look on his face. So it's not as though he thinks you're crazy or that he doesn't believe you. It's just he was asking some type of question you don't know.
Can I?
I start walking up to him.
Do we know it's really Jaren?
I want to make sure it's not an illusion.
Okay. So
I
you
start
walk
just
Jaren.
hobbling over to him, put my hand on his shoulder, and ask, "Are you all right, friend? You look quite tired."
You touch
And I
him.
really want to
Give me an intelligence check. He has substance.
intelligence check.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I'm not getting a roll here. Oh, there it goes. Oh, does a 3 work for you?
A 3? Sure.
Yeah. I definitely believe he is there.
Sorry, I'm gonna bug in my throat.
You mean a
no,
worm?
yeah, a worm. No, God, no. He seems substantial. You don't notice any illusory effects or anything like that tapping into your extensive arcane knowledge.
I would like to just call out to Jaren and say, Are you really sure that you don't know what's going on here? Because you seem a little bit too calm for someone who just saved us from a time loop after we just got done walking out of another time loop a day before. You seem a little bit too chill about it.
Give me a persuasion check.
Oh, I'm not good at these, I don't think. Oh, actually, yes, I am.
Oh,
that's
just
not
kidding.
good. That's a 10.
This isn't the first time that we've had anomalies pop up. Now, I admit, this most recent rash of them is concerning, but I don't think it's anything that truly endangers the city as a whole. Of course, certain individuals, random people will be affected, and that is a cause for concern. But considering what we just went through, in the grand scheme, it's very minor. Besides, Well, I'm pretty sure Lieutenant Lux here would like to speak on what the Accursed Guard have to say about it. Right. Well, hello. I am Lieutenant Quiven Lux. I'm here on behalf of King Dorian himself. We would like to know if you're willing to assist us in exchange for a reward, of course. We would like to know if you wouldn't mind investigating these anomalies. This is the second one that you've come through relatively unscathed, and you more than proved your mettle against the infestation. And well, we can't risk angering Megora. The Accursed Guard can't rely on her assistance. So this can't be an official investigation either. When I found that Jaren, don't want to say in possession of you, but when Jaren had found you, I brought this to King Dorian's attention, and he asked me to make this request of you.
I can't speak for my allies here, but I have already spent too much time in this city, far more than I planned. I can't afford to stay here much longer. Our father is quite sick. There are things that I need to do in this city before I can leave, and this is not on my list. And I was somewhat forced to investigate for you last time, and I killed that creature for you. Now, I don't want to get sucked into any more time loops or time vortexes. I can't afford to waste any more time. But surely there must be someone else you can go to.
Certainly, Prince, we could. But what happens when these anomalies travel to Grenloft as well?
You know me. Alright.
I lean over to Bab Knight. That guy's a prince?
Yeah, what the heck? Way to bury the lead, dude.
Did you know that?
I just look over to Phelan. And
And Princess, if I'm not mistaken, you wouldn't want to leave here without helping your brother earn a patron. Is that right?
I suppose not.
Yo, these people are stalking us.
Forgive me, Lieutenant. I'm a bit confused. How you seem to know so much about us and yet so little. You know our names, you know our town, you know why I'm in this city, yet you know so little to call us Prince and Princess. Clearly you've never been to our city. Clearly you know nothing of our kind.
Clearly he's not
So what
really
is
a
it you
prince.
My intelligence is admittedly incomplete. It's a personal flaw in my job. I'm a member of the, well, let's just call it the diplomatic branch of the Accursed Guard, which is why I was sent. Because I can often be persuasive when no others can, and King Dorian believed that it would require a soft hand given, well, your most recent tribulations.
That usually means he's manipulative.
I whisper
Do
to
you
Ona.
Do you have any sort of leads, any idea where this investigation would even start?
As a matter of fact, we do, thanks to Duranton here. And I will let him speak to that. But if that's not enough, I believe Corin would like to speak with you as well. As I gather, some of you are here regarding patronic matters. some of you, looking at Tior, need some assistance. And I understand that you've come into some sort of agreement with Corin, which is good. Corin's a good person. This payment you have negotiated for clearing her name, we will support that. But from what she says, she needs more. Not in payment, but more to complete the process. So it seems, unless I'm mistaken and you would disagree, that interests are aligned regardless of the king's request.
Yeah, and I kind of avoid eye contact with Bavnai, and I'm like,
I think having our patronic situations dealt with sooner rather than later would be quite useful. I don't think that we can go on another mission without getting through that.
Ona kind of sounds a little panicky and like a little rushed when she says
excited. Someone's a little excited.
Yes, looking forward to it, buddy.
And she's like not looking at Vavnai and kind of like elbow bumping him, trying to remain friendly, but just not making eye contact with him at all.
It'd be funny to make him sweat a little bit more, wouldn't it? Just kind of drag it out, make him think we're still gonna be around.
Yeah, but I mean, I think dealing with it sooner rather than later would be in both of our best interests.
Very well, very well. I need a seat. I go to look for a chair. I'm old.
The room was oriented as it was in your time loop. You can tell it was like that before they came in, pushed the table with the food off the side, moved the chairs. So kind of in this haphazard ring around you is a series of tables and chairs scattered about that you can easily sit at.
Yeah, I sit at the table. Or whatever the closest chair is.
Well, if there's still disagreement, I will leave you to it to decide. Be just over there. Let me know when you've come to a decision. Jaren? They turn and walk off, and with them, Duranton. And before she turns to give you some space, Corin takes those opaque glasses you can't see through and knocks them down a little bit, and chews on that cigar a little more. Kind of winks at you over them, turns and walks with them.
He literally just did the anime eyeglasses thing with the glare. He literally just did that, like... Okay, I see how it is. I got you. Ona will kind of look to the rest of the party, still avoiding eye contact with Vavnai.
I think if we can negotiate it, doing all the patron stuff first, and then going on this mission seems reasonable. I mean, Phelan and Tior don't have to stay, because I know they have to get home. But, I mean, I think if we just try and get the patron stuff out of the way first, that seems a little bit more reasonable, because we all came here for a reason. They can't just expect us to keep doing work without getting at least a little something in return before that.
Yeah, we still haven't even, taken off our bracelets, so...
As much as I would like to agree with you, Ona, if both the patron thing and this time vortex thing are on our to-do list, if they remove your connection with your patron, can you still fight?
I mean... yes.
I reach over with the staff and lift that paw. Look at that paw! Of course you can!
Yes, we still have options to fight, and we still have options to be useful. We just don't have the pact with our patron, and there's no reason for us to extend the length of time that we are made pact with this patron so that we can be safe and free from this patron as soon as possible.
Alright, calm down, calm down.
Yeah. It's definitely... I could definitely see myself doing it. I just need to help Mira first. Once that's taken care of and my things are underway with the orphanage, I'll have plenty of time.
Yeah, maybe we should do this first, and then we can work on our stuff. Just a thought. That'd probably be a good idea.
No, we should definitely do the patrons first. That's definitely on the top priority to-do list. I think they can wait like half a day or whatever. I think that's crucial.
Will she even break your pact now?
I mean, if she won't, then she's got to deal with these claws.
Rated E for everyone.
Rated O for only one.
Phelan, what do you think? You're a somewhat impartial. You have no qualms with your patron. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I'm honestly just along for the ride with you. I want to see you succeed in what you're trying to do here, and I don't want to go home to our father even sicker than he was when we left. But I also personally, in the goodness of my heart, don't want to see the people here die to these time anomalies, if that's even possible. Like they said that one guy came back like aged super in the future. I don't want a whole section of the city to go through a time anomaly and be on their deathbed in a day. I don't want them to age back to children. I don't want us to age back to children if it reaches back to Grinloft and to our family. I don't want to see all that happen again. I don't know if it would, but it's definitely
That's
a
actually
fear.
quite an interesting thought. Can it go backward? Like I know we sort of like we're in a loop where we were going backward. We're only going backward, like
Well, I assume if we
into
can
that
go
same loop.
I assume if we can go forward, we can go backward, right?
That
would make sense.
Could it bring people back from the dead? If
I
you go
don't
back
even-
far enough.
I don't even want to think about that.
We can test it if you like.
Oh god.
Actually, I've died enough this morning. I think I'm alright.
Splash.
Maybe this is something that we should do first and get it over quickly. I think we all want to get this over quickly.
The
And
patron
then-
thing, right? We're all on the same page with that one.
Ona, I know that your relationship with your patron is tense, and I can't pretend to understand. But I think if we want to do this, everything that we individually want to do, for the moment we have to play by their rules.
Also, I would be very worried if you did happen to go ahead and end your pact with your patron, and then we go through another time jump and you've got your pact again, if that's even possible. That would be absolutely awful for you to have to go through the trauma. I assume it's trauma of having to break your pact and then suddenly.
I mean, I would just
somehow
go back and
wind
request
back
a
up
refund. As in, like, they take the patron back again.
Give me an exchange.
It's your gamble, really. Makia would love nothing more for us to kill all of you, personally. But if you wish to wait, that's fine. His demands are quite simple.
I mean, I wonder if they would just let them two break their pact while we
Are
go
we just
ahead
ignoring
and
that?
go.
Yeah, I'm gonna like.
So
I'm leaning
sorry.
in like. Wait, what?
Who wants to
Right.
kill us?
My patron, he's quite demanding.
He told you that?
He requests souls on a daily basis, preferably.
I know
And
someone who
if
has a
we
lot of
are-
souls.
Well, I mean, I'm not looking to do what I do what I have to do, but I don't seek it. So, if I'm in a room with all of you and just you,
Is that why you killed me
So
earlier?
watch your
already
back.
killed my
Watch
brother.
your back.
You've already killed my brother once today. Let's not do that again.
I have no desire to. I rather like you all.
Even me.
Phelan is just staying like studiously quiet.
The true love for the prince. The true love for the prince, for sure. Okay, what is
Your
our
Highness.
The half-elf prince. If we're putting this up to a vote, I say we do the time thing and then the patron thing. But Ona, I completely understand if you want to do the patron thing first.
Ona still kind of avoids eye contact with Vavnai, but kind of just like thinks about what the other little polar bear said to her the other night and was like,
I don't know, Vavnai, what do you think?
I care not. Whatever is best for all of us. We've gone this far, what's a little further for safety?
is there...
You're not gonna kill us? Because I'm concerned.
Oh, I have no desire to kill you, but there's no telling what he may do.
Great. Well, because we'll probably die already, so that's fine. As long as you're not the one.
Hey, Vavnai, really quick, could you go over there where they went, and could you just ask them, if the lady's willing to take our patrons before, and then we go do the time anomaly? Can you go ask them really quick?
Oh, of course.
Once Vavnai kind of walks away and like kind of gets out of earshot, which isn't that far because he's old, can't hear anything. Ona's just gonna be like,
I agree with you that we should definitely do the time anomaly thing, and that's kind of time sensitive. But my patron sent a messenger to me before we went into the time loop yesterday and said that he's going to be punishing Vavnai, and I am not to interfere. And so if we break the pact before he's able to punish him, then he won't get hurt.
That's
Your patron.
big.
Punish him how? How does his patron punish? How do your patron punish you?
Your patron is going to punish him for what? What did he do?
Well, I mean...
Kill Tior?
True.
No, that one he generally supports, but that was newer. He didn't know about that yet. He probably knows now, but he's probably disappointed that it was essentially null and void. But, well, he was mad. He was proud of me, but mad at him for getting infected by the worm thing, and for infiltrating the base and doing all that stuff, and taking risks, essentially. And this isn't the first time one of us has been punished by him, and I know it can be bad, but this is also not the first time we've been punished by him, so I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know how bad it's gonna be, but if we can break the pact before that, maybe that will save him if, you know, he's at risk for death. I don't know. Makir's capable of a lot of things, no matter how loyal you've been in the past.
From what I've heard from this patron, you don't think just because the pack is severed, he wouldn't send someone else and hold a grudge? Was that stop his punishment, even though he severed the link?
Punish you more, right?
I don't know, but at the very least, it delays him, and it makes it so that punishing him would be a lot more difficult and not so sudden and easy for him. He would have to go to a lot of lengths, and honestly, Makir is pretty evil, but he's also kind of lazy. So I'm thinking that if we just break the pact now, then he'll be too lazy to try to go and get Vavnai, and we'll be okay.
If I might ask, what exactly is your patron known for? Does he have some sort of control over time? Could that time loop have been the punishment, or at least the beginning of it?
He definitely can't control time. No, that's definitely not it. Otherwise, there would have been a lot of other things handled very, very differently. Yeah. There either would have been a lot more people dead or a lot less people dead, but that's a discussion for another day. No, I don't think he would have been causing the time anomalies. If he was, then that would have been some level of punishment, and I wouldn't have been involved in either of you.
Probably about this time I'd be like waddling back. Joey, what would they say? Or can I have my conversation?
You can totally have your conversation.
Would it be possible to perhaps front 2 pact removals prior to the taking care of the anomalies?
You were approaching Core and Brickfoot, correct? Or like just the group as a whole?
I meant the group as a whole.
Okay. Well, you would know that Corn is the one you need to speak to.
Right, but I know they're in a gaggle.
Sure.
So I was just, as I'm walking up, excuse me.
So as this happens, as you're doing that, you see they first turn to you, but then you hear a set of footsteps on the stairs near which they're standing from below, and then just over you see the chest and up of another helmeted accursed guard, and he motions to Lieutenant Jaren, and you see him mouth the words, "He's here," and Lieutenant Jaren looks at Quiven and then nods and walks down the stairs. So now it's you, Corin, and Durantis there. Quiven, Corin, and Durantis with you. Turning back to you, Corin looks at you, eyes you up and down, chews on a cigar a little bit. Unfortunately not. See, the problem is I have wavered your fee because of what you did for me. And I appreciate it, I do. But it also requires a fair bit of material. The materials, they get consumed in the process. Now, I also have an interest in, as Quiven here said, I have an interest in averting these anomalies as well, because I have some unhappy patrons of mine. Not the big patron, like the client patron. They've been caught in these, and, well, my work's been undone. So, in order to effect the pact breaking, I would need, compensation in the materials department. And that compensation would be the ever more crystals you can only find in Magora's Perch.
Ever more crystals. What an original name. All right. How require per pact?
1 blue quartz crystal each. You can't miss them. They're big gaudy things. Unintentionally so. Well, unnecessarily so. Not unintentionally so. Definitely intentionally so.
All right, very well. That should be rather doable. A single crystal, material components, consumable. That all makes sense. All right, I will let them know. Thank you.
All right. He turns and starts talking back to Drontis and Quiven.
Kind of hobble back. Ona.
Ona's just, okay, but you can't tell him anything about this, because if he knows about this, then he's gonna do something to stop it, and that will be me interfering, and then I will also get punished. Hi, Vavnai, how would you hear?
Hi! They said that they require the material components for their spells, and unfortunately we have to find them in the anomalies, or it would be easier. We require more ever crystals.
Okay.
Ever more crystals. They're blue, ungodly big, or very gaudy or something. But I'm sure we can find them.
Well, I guess we do the time anomalies first then and get those crystals. Maybe if we get them while we're doing it, we could take a little tea break and go and get rid of our patrons.
Of course, if you're that adamant.
I'll look at you, Ona, and just say for the group, yes, let's do this first, but for my sake, let's do it quickly.
Yeah, I'm all for it, yes.
Ona just smiles.
Vavnai, will you go rush after them and tell them we said yes?
All right. So,
Good God Almighty!
you make your way back over. The three open up to you, and Quiven turns. He has his hands folded in front of him. He has a very, almost. Oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Words. You know when somebody's like being overly patient with you?
Motherly.
Patronizing?
Patronizing. I was like, it can't be patron. I got patron on the brain. It can't be that word. Yes, he's like patronizingly patient. Not in a mean way, just like. So as he turns to you, looking overly patient. So you have a decision then.
We do. We'd like to hear where the investigation can start.
Very well. Well, Duranton, if you will. Before he speaks, actually, I must impress upon you that this conversation is taken in the utmost confidence. The Evermores don't know Duranton is working with us. You see? He turns and steps away. And Duranton walks forward, puts his hands out a little bit, then relaxes. Lieutenant Quiven wants to know if the Evermores are actually behind the anomalies, or if we are helping. Officially, we are helping. I know that much, as I have helped here today. But I cannot speak for every one of the Evermores. For some reason, my friend Sarvish Dunn was killed by one of our brethren. I don't know who, and I don't know. It may be linked to this. Regardless, his familiar seems to have escaped. Little imp, the drinking problem, wretch. He was there. He should be able to give you more information. I believe the rest of my group are looking for him as well. Ostensibly, with good intent in mind. But I can't be certain that there aren't at least some malevolent intents among us. I know that he would used to frequent the Little Helper tavern over in yonder. If you should find him there, approach cautiously because he is quick to anger and he would most likely be drunk no matter where you found him.
Well, we're used to that, right, Vavnai?
Radio.
I definitely know my way around a drink.
Isn't it usually you're wearing it, though?
Well, people just can't help to cheer with their drinks in hand when I play my music.
I look over at your female companion and I go, yeah.
She just does the same thing back, like, uh-huh.
You see Duranton look over to Lieutenant Lux as you're talking back and forth a bit. Lieutenant Lux, is there anything else? I really must be going before I am discovered. No, Duranton, thank you. Go. That he kind of bows slowly, turns around, walks down the stairs out of sight. So, any more questions?
So we find this imp who leads us to its warlock, who might know something. Is that what we're looking for? A drunk imp in a tavern.
In a specific tavern, according to what Duranton said. Yes, essentially. It's the only lead that we have. And again, I would love to give you more information, but we can't officially investigate Megora. We need her on our side. She's too powerful to make an enemy of. King already has his handfuls with all the other patrons. Why isn't there such a handsome reward in exchange for this being unofficial? Will be disavowed if you are found out. I want to make that clear, but you will also get 100 gold each if you succeed.
You really should have led with that.
I find that there are much better motivations than financial gain. At least if you want to work with honest people.
Yeah, like getting rid of patrons.
Well, since you're interested here, he takes a little satchel and tosses it to you. Eeny, meeny, miny, at you, Katori. Catch it with a clank. You hear a heavy coin inside. It's 300 gold to start. 50 gold apiece as a deposit. Not only is that a deposit on the job, but is to ensure your discretion about Duranton and what your true purpose is, so on. Before you run off, like I said, I believe Corin has a word. Promised her as much, and she'll rip my other ear off if I don't let her have it. There will be nothing else. I have other matters to attend to.
Nope, I think we're good.
Have a good day.
He kind of glides back and turns and walks off. And he's standing here talking to Corin for a minute, once again leaving you all on your own for a second. If you would like to take the time for anything.
I'll be divvying out the spoils. Giving everyone their fair share. And keeping an eye on Mira, make sure she doesn't try to finagle the amounts with some magic.
I look at it in my paw, and I just look to Vapnet.
I can buy so much fish with this.
I know you can.
And then I just drop it in my fish pouch.
I turn to Mira and go, I have 69 gold right now.
Oh, shoot.
Now he's bound to get a date. Hey.
That's all I needed. That's all I needed.
Alright. Shall we? You know what? I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'm hungry for breakfast.
You're
Yeah.
right. Now that you
Me
say that, I'm
too.
kind of hungry too.
Kind
Yeah.
of starving.
I'm a bit peckish myself.
If at any point Tiara's not looking at me, I'm gonna try to steal 3 of his gold.
Make a sleight of hand check.
You just told me you had extra.
What's your passive perception, Tior?
10!
It was Tior, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tior. He's the one that just told me he got extra. I'm not.
I
gonna
did not
lie.
say I had extra!
You had more than 50.
Yeah. Sorry. Sleight of hand. Oh, my sleight of hand's not very good. Only a 14.
Well,
That beats a 10.
I was actively watching her for wrongdoing.
Okay.
This
no,
is true.
good call. You did
But
even call that out
so-
beforehand.
She
So
didn't
make a
do anything
perception
wrong.
check.
It's just Tior.
Make a perception check.
Tio and his big mouth.
First he can't get a date, then he can't get a patron, then he dies, and then he's getting his gold
5.
stolen.
5. Okay. So you're watching Mira like a hawk, and then suddenly Tior kind of bumps in between you, walking backwards, thinking only of food. And in that brief shuffle, Mira, you pocket a couple of gold out of his satchel real quick, and once you gain visibility back on Mira, Hitori, you're just standing there looking innocent as can be.
And I'm just gonna say, breakfast is on me.
Is Mira
Wow.
just the modern day Robin Hood without, giving the gold back to people?
Well, she is.
So-
She's
We'll
giving it
see.
to the tavern.
I just said, breakfast
Hey,
is
you
on
know
me, so.
Just extra bacon
My
for
only goal
everybody.
was to give the gold back to Tior and do my own sleight of hand check against her to block it, but I didn't see it.
It's like that. It's like a hand fight, sleight of hand the whole time under the coat. Yeah.
And
So
Tior,
we're all counting it later, and Tior's like, why do I not have the right amount? I'm definitely blaming it on Katori, so get
There's
ready.
an white at the back of his hip. It's like heavy, light, heavy, light, heavy, light.
so
Tior
should we
fi-
take about an hour to eat and prepare?
Ah,
That sounds
I
good to
guess
me.
so.
I
Sweet.
guess that's the move.
Are we going back to our feathered?
No.
Okay.
So there is still that breakfast display on in this table in this
Oh.
time.
Oh,
we know
I
It's
exactly
been,
what's on the
it's been
menu.
pushed to the side.
Yeah, we've already eaten it like twice.
my appetite is not as I eyeball it. It's like when you have steak every day.
Oh no, I'm digging in.
It's like when you have
Yeah,
food
I'm-
trauma.
Roll a single hit die.
Everything on that table is now food trauma for Ona. Ona doesn't want to eat anything on that table. in
I
relation-
will.
Hit die.
I tell you what. No, wait. That
Uh,
after I'm done eating quickly, because I already know what I'm going to eat. I'm going to play a tune,
Okay.
and that's going to be my my song of rest. So you get an extra 1d6. Anyone who needs help.
Okay.
I think
So
Sammy's the only one that
I
needs
should-
help.
you go ahead and do that, but don't worry about marking that off of your list because mechanically, you guys are all fully rested.
Oh,
Right? The things that happened to the time loop kind of never really did happen.
Does
that make sense? They were erased once you finally set yourselves right and put
That's
yourselves on the
convenient as hell.
mainstream.
that's
nice.
convenient. Nice. All right.
I should have mentioned that, and I apologize. I forgot that Tior had gotten injured. Otherwise, I would have.
Just a little bit injured.
I got a,
Yeah.
got a
Just had his
pocket full of
hand sawed off.
HP.
That's fine. So as you're eating and Katori begins playing, Horan's heavy-footed walk. I can't speak tonight, y'all. I'm sorry. Horan walks over and kind of sits down, pulling up a chair close, and plops her elbows down on the table, hands up by her chin, chewing on a cigar, just watching you.
I kind of imagine her like plopping down next to me, and Ona's just kind of like.
Sorry, where are my manners? Would you like some food, miss?
I was gonna say Ona's just like above her head, behind her. Just...
No, I'm all right. So, you agree?
Ona
That's
scoots
good.
over.
I'm sorry, is there something stuck in your mouth permanently? Are you chewing on something?
She's chewing on
cigar.
a cigar.
Yes, no, is there something else? Because that's been in there quite a while, and I'm very surprised it's still intact.
No.
Oh, I'm genuine question.
Some
Would you like
people
some
just have
sausage?
habits. Annoying habits. Wouldn't you say?
Oral fixations.
Right. So, anyway, about the anomalies. As I told the old guy, I need compensation for the materials I'm gonna burn trying to break your packs. Which is why I need you to fetch those pretty little stones from the perch if you get there. And I can use them to try and tamp down some of these anomalies, in addition to breaking ever more packs. Because if this goes south like I think it will, there might not be many Evermores left. Which is good for business, of course.
Tell me about these Evermores. I've heard their name before. What are they?
Evermores are the fancy schmancy name that warlocks who use Magora as their patron like to call themselves. I don't really know if it came from Magoro herself or they came up with it like a t-shirt or something, but either way, that's what they go by.
Forgive me, I have a question.
Huh?
We're going to find a drunk imp in a tavern. What makes you think that we're going to end up at this perch you speak of? What is it that you're not telling us?
There's nothing I'm not telling you. All I know is, in my experience anyway, there's nothing the Evermores do without Magora directly approving it. So, if you're to get to the bottom of this and see whether they're hurting or helping, well, all roads are going to lead to the perch.
Why them in particular? There must be 1,000 patrons and orders in this town alone. Whoa, what makes them so special? Why them? Are they a nefarious group for destruction? And temporal anomalies are very complex altogether.
Because some magics allow powerful users to... It's not really the same as saying manipulating. They can give the appearance of, or they can kind of slow or speed up time a little bit. But
And I spit my drink out across the table. And like...
You're right, Vevnai.
I'm sorry. You said.
Ona's eyeing Vavnai very cautiously right now, like she's just across the table going.
Did you say they can control time?
yeah, they can bend it, reverse it, flip it, stop it. None of the other schools can do that.
Ona leans
Gora's
over.
the only one.
Ona leans over to Tior.
Maybe we can get her to break the pact.
Perhaps.
Yeah,
Perhaps I can
I stare hard at that.
If there's a bunch of time anomalies happening, then either the Shadelands are acting all wonky like they do, or the Evermores are doing some experimentation. They're fucking around with things that shouldn't be fucking around with. Can you believe there were 3 fucking Tuesdays last week? 3. Who needs that many Tuesdays?
That is quite a lot of Tuesdays, you're right.
No, I actually
love
quite like
tacos.
I like
Tuesdays.
Tuesdays. That's when D&D happens. So
Well, what's D&D?
had to.
I like that play. Drachma and Demigods. It's a good one.
I've heard of that. Yeah, it's beautiful. Lots of cliffhangers though. Every episode.
Yeah, it's like the host has a problem with pacing, but otherwise it's great.
Please pause for
Sorry, what were
technical
we talking about?
difficulties.
I'm glad you all agree. Oh, before I forget, slams a meaty fist on the table, and in it is a rolled up scroll of parchment. She opens her fingers and then kind of kicks it towards the middle of the table, and it rolls and stops. And on it, you see this big, thick wad of red wax with a scarlet string tied around it as well. This might help you out a bit, since you got to go over to yonder anyway. The guard over there. Well, they've been a little antsy, and well, Quiven doesn't want anybody questioning you for obvious reasons. And seeing as how this has the king's seal on it, you might be able to use it to get past them without much fuss. Just don't let them open it, because it may or may not be blank.
Noted.
Who's
That's a good piece
at,
of information.
at deceiving people over here? Who wants to carry it?
Who's
I just
good at?
slowly
I'm
turn.
all right at it, you know.
I think Ona, actually, my deception's not bad.
My deception's very strong, I will say.
Mine is
Oh, yeah,
awful.
for sure.
I'm too nice.
Yeah, I don't have a bad.
As is mine. It's genetic.
Yeah,
Mine's-
I just grabbed
mine's
it
actually
and put
really
it in my
good.
pocket.
Mine's
Mirror
really
and
good.
grabbing
Just
things.
don't try to deceive.
I know my strengths, guys, and I should put it in my pocket.
Well, I guess you all need to decide a path to take. But before you go, I'm going to have to prepare for what I assume will be your triumphant victory.
Why'd you
Yeah,
say it
because
like that?
Because I owe you. And it was a little bit of sarcastic. Because if you die, then I don't owe you anymore. And that's good for business, too. I'd like to pull each of you in that room over there. Nothing funny. Just need to know who your patron is and why you want to break with them. What they've done that's so bad. Helps me get in the right headspace and also make sure I have all the right components on hand. It's tricky business. I don't want to kill you.
Well, I think Vavnai would be good at that. Vavnai, I think you should go first.
Nonsense, Ona. Ladies first.
No,
By all
Vavnai,
means.
you should definitely go first. And Ona, gets up, picks Vavnai up, puts him down, and sits where his spot was. It's Duck, Duck, Goose.
All right, all right, Ona. all
No
right.
rush. No rush. I can take a nap. I'll be over there.
Nope, he's ready. Okay, bye. Go.
All right. Scrapes the chair out and kind of waddles over into one of the side rooms.
Just for passing time, when you guys do that scene, I'm just talking to the group about game plans of how we get rid of Vavnai's patron and what are our options, and just going over all nonsense essentially. Everyone's just eating and Ona's just panicking. It's fine.
And I'm trying to open one of the scrolls just to see what it looks like on the inside and try to cast Minor Illusion on it to see if I can make anything that looks realistic.
Okay. So there's a single scroll.
Yep.
Don't
okay.
break the seal.
And
Oh.
yeah, if you
that's maybe a
just
bad
look in
idea.
the tube, it's wound pretty tightly, but looking
Yeah,
in there,
that's
you
what I
just see blank paper in there.
Can I
blank
try to
parchment.
cast Minor Illusion on it and see if I can make it look like there's writing?
I think you'd be able to make it look like there's writing on the portion you can see.
Okay.
Sure.
I would
Just to
also.
practice.
I'd like to ask Ona something. Ona, if you don't mind, I know you said that you and Vavnai had been punished by your patron before. What was that like? What happened?
Well, Vavnai's been punished before. I think he's had it worse for me. I think Bakir has a soft spot for me. I don't know if it's because I'm a bear or not, but I know for when I had it, it just felt like my insides were completely tearing apart limb from limb, and everything was burning on the inside like hellfire. That went on for 2 months.
That was
And that was the easy
He
one.
was taking it easy on you.
Yep, that was the easy one.
What was the hard one?
Well, Vavnai got all the harder ones. The only other one that I had difficulty with was every time that I tasted fish, it did not taste like fish.
Oh, that's the worst for you.
Yeah, but I got over it because I love fish so much, and once it was over with, it was good.
Philin, the priestess has never done anything like that to you, has she?
No, she's lovely.
Well, that's awful. I'm sorry.
Yep. But based on all the other things he's done to Vavnai already, I can't even imagine what the next one's gonna be, because it always gets worse.
And your patron does this through your pact, so it's not like they send someone to come and beat you up. It's mental.
Not all the time. Sometimes they send people, sometimes they don't. Just like messengers. Sometimes he just sends a message in our head. Sometimes he sends little tiny bears with cryptic ass messages.
That's
Ass
awful.
messages?
That's seems fairly recent.
Yeah.
Fairly
feels very-
specific.
Very right on the end.
Right on the
And-
nose.
Well,
Mira,
no, she's been here before. I've seen her.
Mira, I don't know much about your patron. Have they done anything like that to you?
Not if I listen.
Do you?
Generally, I'm a pretty good listener.
Alright.
Oh, Katori's definitely choking
She was
on whatever he's eating. Just
she was listening real good when
Just
Tior
one.
told her that he had more money.
Yeah, exactly. We take note of everything. Yeah, we have some conflict, but I think we're getting better, building our relationship.
Sounds great.
You'll get there. But the priestess hasn't ever done anything to me. She hasn't really talked to me that much, but that's okay.
Because you're a princess.
I am a princess. Phelan flips her hair over her shoulder.
Quite a title you got there, and you.
Yeah, what is?
It's
change the tune. I gotta play something royal. Hold on.
We are not royals. We don't really have that sort of thing in our society. It's not really a nobility thing. It's more of a council of elders. There's no one leader who's considered above the rest.
Hop
are
over.
your parents part of that?
Let's hop over to Vavnai. You guys can continue this when Vavnai comes back. It'll be about that time. So Vavnai, you walk into the room. Corin is already sat down, her big booted feet up on the table, reclining back, still chewing that cigar you asked her about. She clears her throat. Well, take a seat. Tell me how I can help you specifically.
Well, it's quite simple. I wish to sever the contract. Completely. Full and clear. No loose ends. Kira's gone. It's as simple as that.
All right, well, I'm going to need a little bit more from you. Take your time. I know sometimes, especially with the more demanding and nefarious ones, it can be a little traumatic. However you want to give me the information is fine. The more I know, the better. Maybe how you made the pact, what they've done that's so bad, how they treat you, which patron it is, whatever.
I thought you just wanted to know what I wanted removed. Well, I mean, it is rather simple. McKay is a very devious one. He will appeal to the side you are deemed searching for the most, if you will. He always a gift horse. Very deceptive. But, requires souls, generally. Will punish very greatly. Has no problem sacrificing entire villages, families, entire bloodlines for certain slights. Generally, I'm used to such atrocities. That's not the problem. But I don't like what he did to my friend out there. You can break a promise with me. I'm used to that. I don't like it when you break a promise to my friend. And I only have one friend. So damn him. And I will give him nothing more that he ever requires of me. And if I can't do much, if I can't kill him, then by God, I can at least make him starve. Because I fed him well. I fed him very well.
So, Makir, is it?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not familiar with that one.
No, I don't believe we've ever passed through these realms, and I'm not sure he would like to be a part of any area where it could remove his bindings.
Oh, don't you worry about that. If he can touch you here, I can touch him.
Excellent.
Tell me,
the contract.
Tell me why I should.
Oh, why break anyone's contract? Clearly there's something you need or want beyond just the material components. How about you tell me what you need or want?
What I mean is there has to be a good reason. See, the fee is to compensate me for my time, but there's risk involved. And I know how shitty a patron can be, which is why I provide the service. I don't want to say, let's say you strolled in here and you wanted to make a pact to get a benefit. And then once you've accomplished that, well, now you want to ditch the patron because you screwed up or you were being greedy. What is this to you? What happens after this?
You kind of get really nervous and kind of fidgets a little bit. The terms of the contract were not guaranteed. I was lied to. I was promised a second chance at this life. I was promised. And he kind of just looks down at his old frail body. He's like, I was promised more. And I was not given more. And like he kind of just wrangles his hands a little bit. I will die free of him on my terms. He wishes to take me in my form a second way, and I will not serve him. I have served many slave masters long before, and I will never do that again. I will not. Doesn't really know what to give you. It's just kind of like in his moment here. But he just keeps looking at that door and the person beyond it.
All right, and last but certainly not least, it helps to know which of the major archetypes of patron it is.
I couldn't tell you that.
As in...
He's Fae. He's the Archfey.
Oh. I was thinking circles.
It's okay. Yeah.
All right.
It's okay. A Fae. All right. Send the next one who has business in.
At that, he'll grab. Do you have a paw? Is it a hand? A clawed thing?
Oh, Corin? She has two hands.
Yeah. Okay, regular hand. Everyone's got some weird shit in this place. But like grab that hand. Not like forcefully, but tightly, and be like, if you have to sacrifice me to unbind her contract, I accept. Whatever the cost may be, you make it happen.
Roll a persuasion check.
I'm gonna cry. Stop.
Persuasion. Mm-hmm. Oh wait, that was perception. Persuasion. That's a 13. Ooh! Actually, I've packed the talisman. I can roll a 1d4 on up to two checks.
Okay, go for it.
So, let me do a 1d4 and add it to it. Of course, it's a 1. So 14. All right.
Duly noted.
Excellent. He just hobbles out.
All right.
Sits down next to Ona and be like, "Are you gonna eat that?"
As
No,
Vavnai
absolutely
sits
not.
down, Theor, you were in the middle of discussing Red Wolf
Yes,
Society.
Mira. Our parents were members of the council. Father still is. The council members have sort of titles, different areas of our community that they reside over. Our mother, before she passed, was the spirit guide. There are many warlocks in our community, but she had a quite a powerful connection to hers, as well as a connection to the natural world and our Fey roots. My father is what's called the strategist. He's the one who is sort of the diplomat and communes with leaders from other areas and plans for the future of our people. But when father dies, it will be up to me to take on both of their roles, both spirit guide and strategist. It's an effort to keep the power between the families equal.
Wait, why doesn't Phelan get one of those?
They can't have two people from the same family on the council. This was a compromise that was reached. Only one of us would inherit it, and I am the eldest, and so they raised me to be the one to inherit it.
But if you don't get a patron, then you don't inherit it?
I can't be a spirit guide if I don't have a connection to the spiritual world.
Makes sense. Well, you'll get one. It'll happen.
Vabnai, how was that?
That's the spirit.
Oh, wonderful. I mean, just kind of distracted looking at his meal. Wonderful, absolutely wonderful. I think good news.
Good to hear.
Yes. I think your turn, yes?
Okay.
And Ona will kind of stand up and then walk into the room.
Boy, I'll never get used to your kind. So, what can I do for you?
Ona will waddle over and sit down on one of the chairs, slightly uncomfortably, but it's fine. And Ona will kind of... She looks uncomfortable, but not uncomfortable because of Brickfoot. Uncomfortable because of what she knows is going to happen to her friend. And she's just gonna kind of like twiddle her bare claws and...
I would like to break my pact with my patron. And I know that we need the materials, but I'll still say please because it's the right thing to do.
I appreciate the pleasantries. Why do you want to break the pact with your patron? Who is your patron, and how did you get into the pact? And I had assumed the other guy had told you what I was looking for, but go ahead.
No, he absolutely did not. That's not at all who he is. He would not pass along that information. Anyway, well, I made a pact with him, and he promised me he would help me figure out my more magical roots, my past, so that I can eventually get trained and take the place of my parents. And he definitely lied about that. And we did some kind of questionable things, and when I didn't do those things, then I would get punished for them. And they hurt a lot. And every time you get punished, it hurts a little bit more than the worst, and it gets worse and worse every time you get punished. So I try really hard not to not do that. But sometimes I can't help it because I don't want to necessarily hurt people who don't deserve it. And so, well, I made the pact with him, and now I want out because it's not the right kind of magic that I should be looking for, and he's kind of, I feel like he's leading me away from where I should be. And she's kind of going on like this tangent of like, long story short, like teenage tangent of, you know, this is where I want to be, this is what I want to be doing, and he's holding me back, and I should break up with him, but I can't for some reason, you know.
All right. Well, I think I got the gist of it. So, if you made a pact to discover your magical roots, the right kind of magic, and I break this pact, where does that leave you?
Well, I mean, my family does have magic, and I was supposed to go out into the world to be able to discover what I can do, and Makir came to me and told me he could help me. But I think that if we break the pact and I don't have his help anymore, his help anymore, then I'll be able to search for it on my own. It might take a little bit more time, and since I've had a huge major setback, but I know that I can do things, because I know that some of the things that I can do aren't necessarily all Makir's power he's gifting me, so there's stuff I can do. I just have to figure it out on my own, I guess.
All right. All right. Well, look. I don't know what kind of reception you've got, but since you seem so hesitant to hurt people that don't deserve it, I'm not sure if you caught on that some of those in the Accursed Guard aren't too keen on warlocks. So you may get hassled now and then, and I don't know how. Some patrons take it awfully personal. Their warlocks get hassled and get tamped down on and things like that. So I don't know. A word of warning, I suppose. Might be a tricky situation.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Vavna's been taking a lot of the brunt of things lately when it comes to our patron. So I haven't been punished, and no one else around me besides him have been punished for much. But I'm hoping that if you can break our pacts, then he won't be hurt anymore, and he could just be a happy old man with no problems.
Yeah, that sounds nice. All right. I think that's all I need from you. Send to the next person who's got business with old Brickfoot.
Okay.
And Ona will kind of stand up. The chair's a little stuck, so she'll kind of waddle out of the chair and then walk out the door and go over. And she's not going to sneak behind Tior, but she's going to be kind of walking and then, like, be, like, right next to Tior.
I think it's your turn.
And then, like, pick him up, stand him up, and then, like, sit down in his spot.
I don't think I have business with her. She breaks pacts. That's not what I'm looking for.
Yeah, but she also said that she could possibly help and get you to the right place of making one.
All right. I'll go over to talk to her.
Good luck.
Good, get him like her.
Inspiring music plays.
As you walk in, she kind of sees you and she grins a bit and then fakes this hurried, like, push out of the chair and stand up and bow really deep to you, looks up and grins again, and then pops back down and puts her feet up.
That's enough.
I just paying my courtesies, sire. So,
Look.
what can I do for you?
I don't know if you can do anything. I need to make a pact.
Right, I remember that.
I am long past begging. I am now looking for scraps behind the store. I am looking for whatever patron accepts almost everyone who comes knocking.
Well, to find you a patron, I gotta know why. And the way you're talking makes me think I might have to go a little off course.
There's something wrong in Grenloft, my home. My people are not very old. I mean, we live long lives. We're elves, but we have only been here in the Shadelands for a single generation. My parents were born in the Feywild, not here. And there's something wrong with that generation, the ones who were born elsewhere and moved here. We should live hundreds of years, nearly 1,000 years. But they're all dying. Or dead already. Hundreds of years before their time. But those of us who were born here seem fine. At least none of us have gotten sick yet. I sort of assumed that I would always, eventually, take on some sort of role on the council and help lead my people. I just didn't expect it to happen so soon. But Mother's already gone. Father is getting sicker by the day. And when he's gone, I need to stand up and I need to take on the role of 2 different council members, and I can't do that unless my people respect me. And my people cannot respect me if I am patronless. We call it the seeking in my home. It's a sort of spiritual quest where you connect with the patron and make your pact. And all of the elders, most of our community, have completed their seeking. My sister has completed her seeking. I have sought 7 times and failed every one. So I am on my last resort, and I'm running out of time.
She leans forward. She looks at you. Even though her eyes are hidden behind the opaque glasses, you can tell this is very, very intense. Staring at you. Then why don't you just quit?
Because I was raised for this job. I didn't get a childhood. My sister got to run around in the woods, and I was inside reading and training and learning. I have a duty to my people and to my parents' legacy. It's not about what I want. It's not about my own happiness. It's about my people and their future, which will be my responsibility when I take on my father's role. The future of the Glau. So I can't quit. If I quit, I'm not just giving up on myself, I'm giving up on them.
How long have you been looking for a patron?
Too long.
And time's running short.
Every day.
I don't mean to pry. Gaining a patron is serious business with everlasting consequences. Just making sure you've thought this through. That's all. I don't take my clients' needs lightly.
I think about little but this. I don't care what the consequences are. I don't care how miserable my life becomes. If I have a patron by my side, infusing me with power, I can lead. I can do what I was born to do.
One last question. If, like you said, you've been searching for a long time, time is running short, how do you know they haven't already given up on you? What happens if you get a patron you're miserable with, and you have all this power, and you go back to nothing? Then what?
Then I'll still have Phelan. She believes in me. And if she still believes in me, and even if we get back to Grenloft and Father is dead, and the town has no interest in me, if I have Phelan, then I'll be able to get them all back in time.
right. All I need. But I would like to speak with Phelan.
All right. I get up. I'll walk over back to the group. Phelan, you've been called to the principal's office.
I don't have any business with her. I'm happy the way I am.
I don't know. I really don't. But she was asking a lot of very personal questions.
Oh, God. Okay. I'll be back. I drag my feet slowly. Just play with my hair a little bit.
Okay. You walk in. And Corin is sitting there behind the table, kind of leaned over, fingers crossed, and she's kind of staring at the middle of the table. And for a few seconds, she doesn't even seem to notice you enter. And she kind of picks her eyebrows up and looks at your direction, sits back, sighs a bit, kicks her feet up on the table. So, Princess. Brother really wants a patron.
That he does. He's been looking for a long time.
Right. See, here's the thing. I haven't met a patron who doesn't take every opportunity possible to expand their influence. There isn't a single patron out there because their power relies on having warlocks spreading their influence, doing deeds that benefit them. And if he has intentionally sought multiple patrons, I don't know why that would be. And seeing as how you weren't even trying, you're from the same place, same family, you found one. Thinking you might be able to shed some light on that for me.
What exactly do you want to know? What are you getting at?
I'm gonna be trying to hook him up with a patron. Not to his detriment, even though I think what he wants overall is to his detriment. That's not for me to decide. But if I am going to do everything I can to keep it as painless as possible, I need to know what's wrong with him. And you know him better than anybody here. So what's wrong with him?
I don't think I know. I asked my patron why in general, and all they could tell me was that he is not ready. But I think that he's ready. I think that he can do it. I think that these patrons just aren't seeing in him what I see in him. I couldn't tell you why all of the patrons have denied him. He's tried so hard. He's done more than I have that I could. He's done the studying. He's gone to everything with the elders. He's sat with our father. He sat with our mother. And then I just walked into the woods one day and found mine. But I don't know if I deserve my patron, but I think that he definitely deserves one, and I can't say why he's not found one already.
Huh. Are you ever interested in marrying?
I haven't ever thought about it.
Let's pretend.
Okay.
Play this out. Let's say you have several people attempting to court you. one of them runs off into the forest and kills a deer or makes you this giant garland of flowers, does things to earn your attention, forms well. And then you have another one. This one comes to your door every day, begs for your time, asks why won't you go out with him? Why won't you go get a drink with him? He deserves your time just as much as anybody else. How do you think that would go?
Well, I personally think I would obviously go with the better option of the one who put forth the effort and didn't just say that they wanted to spend time with me. The effort is what counts.
Right. Most people would say that. Because the other one seems weak, desperate. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I see what you're getting at. Yes, I do.
Well, if you don't see anything wrong with it, that's fine. So you think that I should help you or find a patron?
I would love it if you could. I
And you
want
think
to see him
he's-
succeed.
You want to see him succeed and you want to see him lead your people.
Yes, exactly. That's what he was born for. Definitely not what I was born for.
What were you born for?
I don't know yet. I'm still figuring that out.
All right. That's all I need to know. Thank you. I appreciate the insight.
You're welcome. Please be kind to him because he's really tried very hard. And I don't want to see him get hurt again after all those other times. I'll just turn and walk out.
Does anybody else have business with Corin?
I'm gonna say no.
I do not.
So Phelan walks out. You join your group, Phelan. You'll have a couple of moments as you would understand the way that Corin was getting up after you were going to walk out. That Corin was kind of gathering herself and getting her things together, and she was going to be following you out. But you have a couple moments here with your group. If there's anything y'all would like to say before Corin shows back up to bid adieu.
Well, that was awkward. I don't want to talk to
Extremely
her
awkward,
again.
right?
It was so awkward.
Very personal.
I don't know, I kind of found it therapeutic in a way.
It was
Absolutely.
not therapeutic. I don't want to talk to her again. For a while.
Did the music not permeate through there? Could you not hear it?
All
that
I
why
could
it
hear
wasn't
was the sound of
therapeutic?
her grilling me.
Right? It was an interrogation.
It really was.
That was rather
And, you know-
pleasant.
She implied that she was going to get me a patron. She didn't tell me what this patron was called or anything, or I mean, she could be full of shit.
I mean, to be fair, Tior, do you really care, though, what it's called?
I would like to know the name of the being I'm going to bond with for eternity.
You'll learn it once
Well,
you're
maybe-
bonded.
Well, maybe she hasn't. Maybe she doesn't have one in mind for you yet. Maybe she has a couple in mind and she just has to. Maybe
mean,
we
I
do a
don't know.
test drive.
Oh,
Did
no,
she
I don't know
tell
how
you
long your people
anything?
live, but my people live for hundreds of years. It's a very long pact that I am making.
I mean, you can always come back to her, have her break it, and then make a new pact.
Well, maybe once she does tell you, maybe you could, maybe to sweeten the deal a little, you could go bring them flowers or something, or
Wow.
Or- if they have like a temple in the town, maybe they like offerings. Maybe you could bring them an offering. Maybe if they're not like the best patron, you could get them to be a little bit nicer to you. Show some effort.
Well, yeah, I'm planning on just going and saying how much I want to make a pact with them.
No, I think you should lie.
Yeah, it seemed like you're not
You're
super
doing it
like,
wrong.
you need it. You don't
No, I
need
mean,
it.
look, the
You have to be
reality is
dismissive. The first
the
patron,
seeking-
you dismiss them. Dismiss them. They'll chase you.
Okay, well, Vavna, I think your patrons may be a slightly different circumstance.
But I have sought after patrons before, and sort of my strategy is I read everything I can about the patron ahead of time and determine what they like, what they don't like, what they like in their the ones that they choose to bond with, and then I train and I become exactly that kind of person, so that when the patron sees me, it's like, oh, this is a perfect fit, and it just works.
And how's that working for you?
Have you heard of the terms stalker or kiss ass or some things like this?
I think maybe Tior, you should try a different approach. When you, I think you should try and just wait for one of them to notice you, and just play hard to get, like a little bit. You gotta give and get. You don't just hold it all back.
Just be yourself.
You gotta give and take a little.
You know what? This time, I'll go in completely blind. I don't need to know the name beforehand. If I do, I'll. It doesn't matter. But I'm not going to research a thing. I'm just going to go in there as myself.
It's an arranged patronage, and I think it'll work out wonderfully for you, Tior. I think it's exactly what you need.
And once you know who it is and you've fully connected with them, then you can, do some research and start to develop in the way that they would want. But maybe we wait till that point.
But also maybe make sure that the thing that they like to do is not like raising villages of people or like
don't get theirs.
Yeah, I'd love if it wasn't theirs. I'll be honest.
Because I would
really,
hate
beggars
for
can't be choosers, but that patron sounds awful.
I would hate for you to get a patron and then all of a sudden them turn around and be like, okay, you have to kill your whole town in order to be mine. Please don't kill our people if you get a patron.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That does seem a bit counterintuitive. If the idea is to lead our people, killing them would seem like against that.
So maybe
goal.
just do like a little bit of research and then just don't go super in depth and let them tell you.
We'll do the research. We'll give you the information that you need. But also,
great idea.
I'm thinking if you're trying to lead, less people may be easier. So we should really talk about the pros and cons.
You can also just trap all their souls and lead their souls. That's kind of a good thing. It's a lot easier.
Compromise.
It's lighter than bodies, That
is
wordplay.
Literally
just a whole
true.
bunch of wordplay.
Yeah. Plus, if anyone comes to raid your town or your city, then they won't find much but souls, and they won't be able to do much. And you can just have the whole entire. You can have the whole entire of your population just haunt the crap out of them, and then they'll go away and they'll never bug you again. It'll be great.
Yeah. We should definitely talk about your strategies to lead, since you're obviously going to get a patron. But
thank you. It really does mean a lot. I haven't really allowed myself to think beyond this first step.
Yeah, we know, buddy.
So
we've noticed. Hyperfixation is a thing.
You're bringing out your positive side. I really like that.
Yeah. Just kill half of them, not all.
All right, well, look, I wasn't trying to interrupt, but I really got to be going. So, anything else? Anything?
No, we're going to go find a drunk imp.
All right, good luck. Yeah, good luck. Turned and she walks down the stairs. She just kind of like crept up and was watching you all talk, and then she's kind of jumped in real quick. She's like, all right, I'm out.
Watching us all like compliment and then slander and compliment Tior.
It's the good bad good sandwich.
Yep. That's how you pick up all the ladies, How Tior's gonna get a patron. The good bad good.
Alright, does anyone know where this
No.
The little elbow, is that what it was called? The little elbow tavern?
No, it was the little helper.
The little helper.
I wasn't
Not
ready.
The elbow.
I like the elbow.
These Yon'Cathian accents.
Elbow sounds amazing.
Lieutenant Lux did say it was in yonder, which means you would need to cross the Obsidian Rush. You have to take one of the 3 bridges. You know that much. They also said that it was pretty hard to miss, as it was the only one that caters to familiars. So.
Is it tiny?
What?
You didn't ask that.
How big
is
the
that
elbow?
is that what she asked you, or
what?
The imp, right?
Well, imps are
We have.
this big, right?
I think I think they're imp size, right?
Roughly an imp size. Yeah, you're right.
I really thought that was a "is that what she said" joke. I got completely thrown off right there for a second. That's why I was. Sorry.
Is that what she told you?
Yeah, I was.
So wait, so this tavern is completely dedicated to familiars?
We're gonna stick out like a sore thumb, aren't we?
Oh,
I think I'll be fine.
okay. That's interesting.
Ona's just dead serious. Like, she legitimately thinks that she's gonna walk into a tavern with a bunch of pets and be completely fine. No one's gonna notice a thing.
Alright, so stealth is probably not going to be an option for this.
Yeah, not for you guys. Look at you, all skin, no fur.
It's true.
Paws out.
I
Boom,
like
high-five.
Katori and I just like high five each other. Yes.
Ona, perhaps I'll be your familiar, Ona. Oh, I bet they'll love that.
I mean, yeah,
Are familiars
we'll get a culture check. We'll see how the vibe is.
familiars aren't usually as big as you though, right? They're usually small.
Mm-hmm. I'm covered in fur. Doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. Well,
Alright. Let's find the place first, and we'll see what happens.
Well, y'all need to decide, obviously, how to get there, but also which bridge you're going to take, etc. And, well, I mean, you know as much as you know about these bridges, so you could attempt to find more information from the passers-by in the crowd on the streets, or some other method. However y'all like to make this decision or get your information is up to you.
Which one is closest to us?
The Gilded Gallery is still relatively north in Cathrak, so the closest bridge would still be the Black Span, the one that functions as a massive market as well. Then there's Stone Leg, which is the middle bridge, and then Patron's Pass, which travels directly next to the Scarlet Hearth.
Patron's Path sounds very...
Yeah, I do want to head over there at some point. This might be
Maybe on
convenient.
the way back.
Oh,
we already have to
we
go over. Why don't we
now.
just go there? Yeah.
Yeah. Just to, poke around.
Yeah.
Gander.
I do feel like the two most packed bridges would be the Black Span and Patron's Pass. Are we trying to go
I don't know if we're trying to be
with
sneaky
less
though.
eyes?
Yeah, I mean, no one knows who we are.
Yeah, I think we're fine in that. The bigger issue is going to be getting into.
I think we might want to be sneaky maybe after we speak to the imp and see what the imp has to say, but before that, we're just on a trip.
In my little rocket ship.
Wait, can everyone remind me when we need this? And I pull out the scroll.
It's for the imp.
Okay, I put it back away.
Well, that's
Can't
for the
we-
gods.
It's I believe it's a get out of jail free card essentially.
Great.
Well,
tried
it's
to
not
rough
to
us up.
get out of jail free card. It's more of
It's
a
a get out of
show
jail
the
wink
badge
card.
and then hide it again.
Noted.
So to Patron's Pass.
Let's do it.
It's fine with me.
Patron's Pass.
All right. Setting out into the bright, sunlit streets of Yon'Cath, the gorgeous aurora overhead, one foot after the other, you slowly make your way to your next destination. And we will arrive there after the break. Because it is almost 9 o'clock, so we're going to take our break. Everybody, thank you for staying with us so far. We hope you're comfortable, and we hope you are enjoying tonight's session. I love watching you guys go back and forth so much. So we're going to do the bio thing, stretch, get some snacks, all that great stuff. Invite your friends. We will see you back 5 to 10 minutes from now for a very interesting second half. See y'all then. Hey, everybody. And we are back. So, my friends, you have decided to travel over to Yonder by way of Patron's Pass, the southernmost bridge in Yon'Cath, which leads directly adjacent to the Scarlet Hearth. You have a bit of traveling to get there, a couple of miles. Take you probably about a half hour if you make decent time, not including any stops along the way. But you just got paid a decent amount of money. I know you have some magical items that you've been looking at, and maybe you have some other business in Yon'Cath, whatever you may have. This is an opportunity to do that along the way if you choose to do so, or not. It's up to you. So, stepping out into the street, where do your feet lead you?
DM, I have a question.
Hmm.
Would I know sort of the kind of resource I would look for if I was trying to identify the energies of the two patrons in that medallion?
Ooh. That is a good question. Oh, actually, I will answer your question with the question, because this may be important to you. That medallion. Did you have that tucked away, or were you wearing it?
I'm wearing it.
You're wearing it. Okay.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah, he put it on after I gave it back to him.
Yeah.
In fact, they're wearing him.
I don't like Joey's face.
That's scary.
We will get to that in a moment then, Tior.
Okay.
Everybody else, is there anything in particular you would like to do or anywhere in particular to go?
Ona's gonna sniff out fish.
Okay, to the waterfront then.
Gotta replenish the stash.
Lavnai, didn't you have something else you wanted me to take a look at?
Yes, of course. I'll pull out the necklace of the 12-sided emerald. I believe I found this amongst the fallen. I can't make heads or tails of it. Perhaps you can.
So I want to identify that as a ritual. Will you allow me to do that moving or no?
What we'll say is, whenever y'all make your first stop, wherever that is, you guys will hover around there, enjoy the breeze, the beautiful aurora, and you can cast it then.
If you want to do it while sitting on my back.
That's fine. You can put the ritual stuff on Ona's head. I don't know how big your ritual circle is.
Do it.
Whatever you say it is, it's going to stay that big from now on.
I'm just going to look around for anything with since we're supposed to be looking for ever more crystals, I'm going to just more or less inquire, ever more crystals, what is this? And then at the same time, try to learn more about the Evermore themselves. Because now Vapnai's very curious as we're going through these areas.
Sure. All right, so I got fish, I got identify, I have Evermores, I got Tior, Vaylin, Mira, anything?
I would like to go into the Scarlet Hearth once we get there and look for someone who, someone, I guess, who follows a celestial patron.
And I would also like to go into the Scarlet Hearth, but specifically find someone who is with a great old one patron. Ideally,
and if it wasn't clear, I would also like to go into the Scarlet Hearth when we get there. For every reason under the sun.
But on the way there, if there's something to purchase, I guess, maybe not flowers, but something as an offering, that would be what I would like to do.
I would like to do that as well. But for a little.
They're just competing with each other.
We have similar ideas. Probably different execution though.
Yeah, probably different people that we're trying to connect with, but.
Okay. Beautiful. All right. So you two roll me an Arcana check. That way you can discern what an appropriate gift might be. Vavnai, I'm going to need a persuasion check from you. As you begin talking to the first one of these individuals, not long after you exit the Gilded Gallery, they immediately look around nervously and kind of dart off. And you realize that the Evermores are very taboo to discuss, almost kind of like the thief in the night, the shadow in the corner kind of entities. And people don't openly do it. So you would have to...
Persuasion?
Yeah, you would have to coax people into discussing anything with you about them. Oh, any normal citizens.
I got a 16.
16 and 19?
Mm-hmm.
I got an 11.
Okay. Oh, and a perception check for your fish.
I would also like to look for. I know after this, but I would like. There's one item I'm in particular want to look for, and then 2 general adventuring stuff like health pots, stuff like that.
Okay.
16 for me.
Okay. So, oh no. Everybody's kind of taking a moment to figure out exactly where they want to go and where to travel, how to get there. You know you have to head south. You know you want fish, and 99% of the time, fish are going to be near water. So you immediately start heading toward the Obsidian Rush, that black stretch of water that runs down the center of Yon'Cath. Before long, you do pick up very, very strong, delicious-smelling raw fishy flavors. So you begin going in that direction. Everybody else, follow or not, but Owen is headed down the freaking street. Okay. So you get 10, 15 steps down the pavement here. There's not too many people in the street, but just because there's every now and then there's a cart going down the center, things like that, you'll kind of hug the side a little bit. Ona leading the way, and then one by one you following. Tior, kind of contemplating everything that was said in your future as a whole. You're kind of dazed out a little bit, looking at the back of the friend in front of you. And as you're passing a relatively narrow alley, you feel a sharp tug on your cloak as you get jerked into the alley, and suddenly you're face to face with Corin Brickfoot.
What? Did you have another question?
What's everybody's passive perception?
10.
12.
11.
10.
Okay. So nobody notices this except for Tior. Y'all just keep on walking. I needed a moment alone with you, if you don't mind. It's about that medallion. Where'd you get it?
I instinctually just sort of clutch it. What does it matter?
Because that is a powerful artifact. It doesn't just wander about in the street. In fact, I only know of one more, and I have it. So again, where did you get it?
I took it from the corpse of Thuldus after I slit his throat.
It kind of pushes you back instinctively, not aggressively, but almost like in shock for a second, and stares at it. And puts her hands on her hips and looks at you. Well, that's fucked up. It makes sense, but that's fucked up.
What is it?
That's a relic of Gasoliad. Gasoliad's a patron of us Pact Breakers. Explains how he was doing what he was doing.
Hold on. You get your power to break pacts via your pact with a patron?
It's complicated. All right. Gasoliad is... Well, I guess the best way to describe her is as an unwitting patron. She doesn't want to be a patron. She has no choice. And often, when people become entranced in a pact with her, they didn't have a choice either. It just kind of happens. There's probably more to it, but I never looked into it. And after a certain amount of time, you don't have a pact anymore. But you still have some power.
Alright, so what exactly does this medallion do? Is this medallion what allows you to break pacts?
It's what gave me my powers when I had a pact. Now, you don't have a pact with Gasoliad, so I don't know what it'll do. But the oldest
all I know, my friend said that there is energies from 2 different patrons inside of this thing.
Her eyebrows furrowed deeply. And
Is that not normal?
She fixates on the medallion as you're talking. Her eyes staring intently, and her hand kind of reflexively drifts toward it.
I pull back.
You pull back. She stops. Well, if you want to know what it's doing, and if you want to know if you can use it or if it's dangerous, you might want to let me look at it.
Can I make an insight check?
Go ahead. I have a vested interest here, too.
That is a 13.
She seems confused. She seems shocked. She seems curious.
I won't move, but I will lower my hand away from the medallion.
She slowly reaches out to it again, and she cups it in her hand, lifting it ever so slightly off of your chest. She looks at you, she looks at it, and she fumbles around in a pocket or a pouch or something. Her hand's behind her back, you can't see it. But then she slowly pulls out and then dangles an identical medallion. She picks the chain up by twirling her fingers and holds it in her hand. Looks at you one more time in the eyes and then closes her eyes. You see her lips moving. You don't hear anything. And then she drops her hand quickly off the medallion to your neck and backs up 2 steps.
What is it?
Puts her medallion away. He tainted it. I don't know how. I don't know why. It's not attached to Gasoliad anymore. But there's something in there. It's trying to get out. 2 of them. You sure you want that thing?
It's the closest I've ever had to a Patronic connection. You spend more time reaching out to patrons, different patrons, than anyone else. Do you have any idea who these patrons are?
I didn't recognize him. I know one's an archfey, and the other's a fiend.
Alright, well that's better than nothing, thank you.
Hold on. I can't let you just walk around Yon'Cath with that thing. I have no idea
Why
what
not?
the hell it's doing, or what it's going to do to you. And like I said, I have a vested interest. I'm the pact breaker. That relic goes to my patron, and I'm the only one. And if some shit pops off and they find that, where's it going to point at?
I understand your concern, but as you said, it's no longer connected to Gasoliad. So I think we're done here. And I'll walk away.
All right. You leave her standing there in the darkened alley. And as you're turning the corner, you hear her feet shuffle away. And you see your friends 100, 150 feet ahead on the sidewalk.
Yeah, well, sorry, what were we talking about? I spaced out.
I don't think we were talking. Hey, look, fish!
You approach.
Hold still.
You approach the cart, and you see Ona rushing up, and there's just 10 or so bins on each level of a 3-layered cart with different kinds of fish. And as Ona begins to interact with the fish merchant, you go off to the side, Katori, and you start casting the ritual to identify this item. Phelan, Mira, Vabnai, you're all just kind of looking around, trying to find somebody to talk to. Vabnai, and you two are looking out for some type of artifact and offering to suit your purposes. Tior, I need you to give me a charisma saving throw.
That's not gonna end well.
Or will it?
-1 brings it to a 4.
Okay. You should roll me a d20.
10.
Okay. So, as you're standing there, you feel this heavy thud inside your chest, like a pressure, a pulse. And like you get kicked in the back, knocks the wind out of you for a moment. You struggle to stay on your feet. Then you feel something. You're not quite sure what it is. You feel someone or something else in your presence. No one around you. No one you recognize. But you feel them.
I just stay perfectly still as I try to catch my breath. And I'll look around and then think inside my head. Can anyone hear me?
You see in your mind an image of a setting sun. It disappears.
It's nice to meet you. My name is Tior. What's yours?
No response. However, I need you to write some things down for me.
Okay.
So long as you are in possession and wearing this medallion, this reliquary, you have access to the packed features for an Archfey Warlock or a Fiend Warlock. You can switch between them at every long rest, up to your level. As the residual energy of these patrons entombed within this relic seek to force their presence out.
Does that mean I can like cast spells and stuff?
The packed
Just
features.
the features.
Yes.
Holy shit.
If you have any particular questions about them, you can chat me about them.
I'll look them up.
Right now, you have the features of an Archfey Warlock. Up to your level. So level 2 feature.
3.
3. Level 3. Sorry. Okay. So, Ona. This frail lady with long silvery hair and too nice of a dress to be selling fish compared to the others around her greets you with a warm smile and rosy cheeks. Good day, ma'am. How can I earn your patronage?
I need fish.
Well, we have fish. What kind of fish? We have mackerel, we have trout, silver, and speckled. We have perch, big, small, sea, and fresh. And she goes on like 20 or so different fish varieties.
Yeah, while she's doing all that, I'm literally like shoving my nose in all of the different baskets of fish and just sniffing them and like picking them up, sniffing them, and like trying to pick the best of the crop. And as she's listing them, I'm literally like, I know what all these fish are. And so I'm literally just going through it. I'm like seeing how much I could fit in my pouch. She goes, all right,
How much is this?
All of our fish are 4 copper normally, but you are such a gentle soul. I can part with them for 3 copper each.
Wonderful. How much for all this?
How many do you have?
my entire like magical bear pouch is like filled. Like, how when you're stuffing a backpack?
I don't think we ever determined how big your magical bear pouch is.
No, we didn't. Like, okay, so I guess we'll consider, because Ona's a large bear, so I guess we would consider it the size of like a big hiking backpack for a normal person. Because like that would be about like maybe like a quarter size of Ona's stomach. The area.
We'll say 200 fish if they're small.
Yeah.
Or
most of them
30 fish if they're big.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll call it 5 gold.
Wonderful.
I give her 6.
Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.
I will. And you see Ona kind of trying to like, you know how when your backpack is so full and you're trying to zip it and you're like squishing it? It's essentially what Ona's doing with her pouch to get it to close.
Okay, so Katori, during this exchange, you cast the Identify spell. You understand immediately that this necklace requires attunement. Pretty sure we already talked about this, honestly. This necklace requires attunement. and it allows you to breathe normally in any environment. In that, you have advantage on saving throws made against harmful gases and vapors. Not underwater, but any air environment, if that makes sense. It's a necklace of adaptation. You can find it in D&D Beyond.
Okay. If Avnai's around, I'll go give it back to him, and then tell him like, this you need to attune to it, but I think you'd be able to breathe on air anywhere.
Thank you.
Unimpeded. Like little smirk, like it could have been useful in the sewers. And then
Or when Vavnai low-key attacked me, but it wasn't Vavnai, and I inhaled all of his poison musk.
Yeah, I'll hand it actually to Ona. Like, here you are, young one. Wear this.
Oh no, what kind? Ona's just like picking it up and like looking at it and like kind of like.
It ain't that big.
So for it to have an effect, you would have to attune to it, Ona. So keep that in mind.
I will be doing that as we kind of chill out and wait for the others to get back, or if we're meeting them.
As
fine.
I catch my breath, I'm going to go up to my sister. Philin,
Yes?
I think something's happening.
You think something's happening? Do you feel okay? Is it a tummy ache?
And you're gonna see my ears slightly elongate and my eyes flash and my hair begin to wave in non-existent air, and I will use Fey Presence. And you need to make a Wisdom saving.
Oh no!
Now, here's the question. It's against my Warlock spell save DC.
Okay, so that would still be charisma.
Fuck. So it's 8
Yep.
plus my charisma modifier?
Yep.
7.
Cool,
Plus
so it's a
your
save of
proficiency.
7.
Okay, I got a
Because
20.
I can't remember if
No,
that includes
I'm
your
wrong.
proficiency or not. Does
I'm
it?
wrong.
Your spell
No,
save?
Not save. Wait. No, your attack roll.
Oh, no, yeah, I mean, it does for Warlocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Sure.
pretty sure it's 8 plus
So-
proficiency plus charisma. I think.
So it'll be 9 is the save that you're trying to hit.
There you go.
I got a 20.
So nothing happens.
I'll be like, oh my gosh, I can do that too! What, how, what?
I don't know.
Did you
I
just
think-
get a patron?
No, I think it's this medallion. The patrons inside. I can feel a bit of their power. It's what it feels like to be you.
Oh, I mean, yeah, whenever I do that, I assume. But do you have like someone in your head? Are they like talking to you? If it's two of them, are they talking at the same time?
No, it's well, one just sort of showed me a sunset. It was actually quite pretty.
Oh, interesting.
And-
That's weird.
I don't know. Look, I'm not gonna question it. This is great. I mean,
It's awesome. It's
it's
amazing.
it's a great sort of plan B. You know, like
Yeah.
if this last ditch effort patron doesn't work, I can go home with this and sort of have
It's better than nothing.
It's better than nothing. Exactly. I think we're gonna do it. I think we're gonna make it through.
I think that this is a miracle, and I think that that's amazing. But do definitely make sure that you don't do anything bad with it. Like, I don't know if it's like, I don't know which kind of. You said it was 2 patrons that were in there. I
Right.
don't know. You don't know what they are, so be sure that they aren't going to try to like be like, hey, kill people. If that's like
Is
a
your
thing.
patron a patron of death?
Well, it's not that kind of death.
Right. Well, I have only really met one of them so far, but this one seems great. They haven't told me their name, so I think I'm just going to name them myself.
Okay.
So this Archfey patron's name is Gary.
Gary, okay. I love it.
Yeah, the Archfey is Gary. I haven't met the other yet, but if it's anything like Gary, it's gonna be great.
Yeah, maybe it'll be like a Mary or something.
Joey, I would like you before the end of the session to please roleplay the patrons inside this amulet and let us know how they feel about being named like common pets, household pets.
My name is the Undying Warrior. How dare you?
I would very much love to. However, the patrons themselves are not present.
Oh.
Their residual energy is present. Kind of like an echo.
Would Tior know that?
An echo of a spirit. Probably not.
Great.
He would just assume they're in there. They
Yeah,
just
hey,
haven't
I
found
applaud
their
it.
voice.
Yeah.
I love the positivity.
Yeah. Cool. Tior's walking with a brand new spray.
Are you keeping up Fey presence?
No. When it
Okay.
work against Phelan, then I'll drop it.
Okay, I was wondering if I was going to have to roll saving throws for everyone around. That's why I was curious.
Yeah, I think it's just an action that I use once.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, Phelan, you start keeping your eye out. You've seen a couple of places they have these small figurines that are made out of scrimshaw, and they take many different forms. Everything from flowers to actual whales, which is kind of morbid, to all sorts of different things. So you don't know exactly what, but you figure something made out of scrimshaw would be pretty close to home for your patron as a gift or offering. If that's what you're looking for your patron, right? Okay.
Yeah, for mine.
Okay. And Mira, the only thing that you can really come up with that's kind of a guaranteed benefit or a great old one patron, yours specifically, correct? Or were you looking for something else? Okay. Yeah, you've seen them when they've communicated with you. You've seen them often studded, almost covered in various types of dark gems. So either that is something that is confluent with their nature or something that they strongly appreciate, something like that. So finding gems of some sort would probably be a good idea. Give me a second. Y'all go ahead and talk.
Nice. Guns everywhere. So did that conversation like happen in private, or was that like a?
About
I wasn't
Gary?
necessarily trying to be secretive, but I would have pulled her aside a bit. But if you were trying to listen, you would have been able to hear.
I wouldn't have been trying to listen. I didn't know if it was like a group and then you pulled one step to the side, or if it was like a.
He wouldn't have had the patience to pull her too far aside.
Yeah, I kind of imagine it like when you and your family go to the grocery store and you're all in the same aisle, but you're all kind of separated, and like the little boy goes up to his mom and like pulls her aside, like, "Mom, I really want this."
Right.
That's kind of how I imagine it.
If you had glanced over, you would have seen that we were talking about something exciting.
And you were super excited.
For sure.
Okay. So there are going to be a multitude of shops along the way in which to find anything made out of scrimshaw, gems. I know, Katori, said you wanted to find some health potions and some other things. Okay.
Yeah. Two items in particular.
Okay. Phelan and Mira, you figure anything between 5 silver to 2 gold, something in that range, would probably be valuable enough, not be just like some rinky-dink little item. So you can kind of flavor it however. I'll let y'all flavor that however you want. What you find and how much you pay within that range as an offering to your patron. What exactly are you looking for, Katori?
One, I'm looking for something to help with an item to help me disengage, basically, in a combat sense. So
like
I want
a magical item or something consumable?
A magical item. And then the second magical item I'm looking for is actually I guess, an easier one to look for or just say. It's like I want to look for like something along the lines of like boots along striding.
Okay. So health potions or no?
Yes, and those.
Okay. So health potions are going to go for magic's pretty available here. Each health potion is still going to cost you 30 GP to start. You're welcome to haggle or try to haggle if you choose to do so. And then roll a D100 for the other 2 items.
34.
34. 1 second. Okay. So with that roll, well, I need you to roll that twice. 34 for the first item, something to help you disengage. I'm gonna let you kind of drive this. So go ahead and give me another D100.
56.
56. Nice. Okay. So you can find. You feel free to browse the magic items in D&D Beyond at this point. This is kind of how I'm going to run magical items here. There is a set chance that at any given time you'll be able to find a certain type of common, uncommon, rare, etc. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So you can find one common and one uncommon item of your choosing that fit your description. And the common item will be... $50 gold, and the uncommon item will be 150 gold. Got it?
Okay.
So you get to do that research and find something that suits your needs, because there's so many to choose from. It's impossible. Take all session to go through that.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else to handle between here and Patron's Pass? Oh, your persuasion checks, Fab 9. I didn't forget about that. So you're gonna have to roll pretty decently. So let's say we'll roll a D10 here. All right, you have 7 opportunities. People that you think might know something about the Evermores. So you're gonna give me 7 persuasion checks, one after the other, until you get the information you're looking for or fail to.
All right, let's do this shit. All right, persuasion 1. That's a 22, 8, 13, 23, 17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 18 and an 8. So I would gander that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
3 questions.
3 questions? What?
3 questions. 3 succeeds equals 3 questions. So what are your 3 questions?
Tell me everything about the Evermore.
They have to be more specific, and not everybody knows everything.
No, I mean, for the most part, they sound like they're the boogeymen, like you said. So, is that based on what? Like, why are they the boogeymen? So for me, it's like, well, why are they so? Why are the Evermore so? Why is everyone so scared of them? Why does everybody literally do what you're about to do? Panic and freak out because somebody asked about the Evermore.
Okay.
How did they get this reputation?
And okay, we'll call that one your first question. It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, that's kind of how it is. It's like what is it like? What that caused this reputation? The second one is just pretty much if I wanted to learn more about them, where would be the best place to do so for educational purposes? And then, what was the name of their place? The
Magora's Perch.
Magora's Perch. And then, just out of curiosity, to avoid them, where's Magora's Perch at?
Okay, so I'll give you that last one for free because everybody knows where Magora's Perch is if you want to ask a different question. So I'll give you these answers, and then you can sit on that last question and think about it. So the reason that what you can get out of these people, the reason everybody's so scared is because there's a lot of myth and legend and misunderstanding about the Evermore. What they know is they operate largely in secret. Their secrets are their own ways, and the fact that Dorian, the accursed king, who has an unfathomable number of pacts with an unfathomable number of patrons that are fueling everything about Yon'Cath and the Shadelands as far as the commoners know. The fact that he doesn't even have a pact with Mogoro and that he has never outwardly spoken against Mogoro speaks to their power, along with the ever-present rumors of them doing things like transforming an adult into a baby, or suddenly being able to manipulate time and reversing a person in time so that they walk backward into the path of an oncoming arrow, and all sorts of horror stories like that. So that's why nobody wants to talk about them or even mention their name. They kind of speak about it in whispered curses just because of that generic reputation.
If you talk about them, they may show up and have fun with you.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Number two, where you would best find information outside of what you're attempting to do, they would recommend either attempting to, if you're so brazen and bold, attempting to capture an Evermore, which would probably be your last mistake. You could always go directly to Mogoro's perch and attempt to seek counsel there with Mogoro herself. Despite the reputation, some people say that Mogoro is always looking for more Evermores to achieve her own ends, although why a normal, fully functioning person would ever submit themselves to that, they have no idea, given their reputation.
Okay, and my third question, since you said you give me that one for free, is just since we're looking for these gems, I'm just going to ask it. Hey, by the way, do you happen to know anything about Evermore crystals? Not that I wouldn't know if they're actually tied together intrinsically with the Evermore, but
sure.
I know that Brickfoot says she needs these Evermore crystals. So just be like, oh, have you ever heard of Evermore crystals, or where I can find them, or do they sell them on the market, things like that.
Okay. So I rolled a 70 out of 100. That would be extremely privileged information. The only item that they associate, they being the common populace, associates with Evermores as a whole, or anything that has the Evermore blank, would be the fact that all of them carry this supposedly special enchanted pocket watch, which is a gift from Mogoro themselves, which fuels or supplies their powers.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I'm good with that. I appreciate it.
Oh, and Mogoro's perch is basically 2 blocks away as you're headed south along the Obsidian Rush here in Cathrak.
Well, say no more.
It's kind of it's hard to miss. It's kind of a giant obsidian-looking clock tower type structure.
Oh, it's Big Ben. Gotcha.
Kind of. Much more fantasy, but yeah.
Small Ben. Gotcha.
Sure. All right. So, with all that information, anything else to resolve before heading and getting to Patron's Pass? I know that was a lot.
I just want to say that I spend the 3 gold that I stole from Tior to get an even nicer item.
Okay.
Specifically. That's all.
Okay. So you find this large, kind of dark gray or smoky colored translucent diamond. The reason that nobody wants it is because it's dark and smoky gray, and as you know, the association between Great Old One patrons, which are often of ill repute, and these diamonds and gems like them makes them less marketable than normal diamonds.
Wonderful.
All right. So, the journey's business at an end. You find your way to Patron's Pass, the southernmost bridge crossing the Obsidian Rush here in southern Yon'Cath. At first glance, especially compared to the Black Span and Stone Leg, the middle bridge, this bridge seems to be the most orderly and the most safe and kind of well put together out of the 3 that you've seen. Casting a long shadow over the center part of Patron's Pass, you see this glorious temple known as here around the Scarlet Hearth against a backdrop of inky black water coming from the dark gray stone cliff behind it. It's kind of nestled in there with the obsidian rush flowing behind it. And then all along this gray slag cliff's face, you see these glowing red fissures of arcane energy, with spider webbing throughout, cracking. And as they get closer and closer to the waters of the obsidian rush, where the waterfall meets and surges through in this inky smoke, and they get wider and deeper and glow more brightly and more vividly. The Scarlet Hearth has a wide circular landing in the front of it, where you see people milling about, not just a cursed guard, but warlocks, clerics. It's kind of an open courtyard in front of this massive 2-storied temple. And there's a central platform running out from the Scarlet Hearth out to the center of Stone Lake. I'm sorry, of Patron's Pass. Getting late. Here, looking at Patron's Pass itself, you see rows and rows of tents on either side. And on the right-hand side, closer to the Scarlet Hearth, you see hundreds of people milling about, with a clear division between hundreds of people milling about on the left-hand side. Those on the right, very obviously of an arcane persuasion. Probably warlocks, from the way that they're calling out and heckling the people on the other side of the bridge. They're extolling the virtues of finding such powerful patrons and the gifts that they've done, the things they can do, how that they are unfettered by the normal shackles of piety and mortality. And on the opposite side, you have robes of many colors, but the one thing they all have in common is you can see they all proudly display holy symbols of one type or another. They're all clerics, some up on pedestals, some handing out little pamphlets and holy symbols to passersby and everything. Your run-of-the-mill civilian folk kind of walk in the middle between these two sides, but they're just constantly jeering and shouting back and forth at each other. This battle of ideals and principles here at the heart of warlock and patronic power in the Shadelands, in Yon'Cath.
Tior is smiling and waving to all the warlocks on that side.
You begin walking along this. At this point, the Obsidian Rush is more narrow, so this bridge is about a quarter mile, whereas the black span on the furthest edge was like a mile and a half, something like that. You walk across, and from both sides, you have clerics reaching out, trying to hand you things, promising you gold, promising you eternal salvation, promising you power, depending on what their particular deity offers. And on the other side, you have warlocks attempting to beseech you to become one of them, to serve their patron. Their patron is the most powerful, gives the best gifts, is the least demanding, and so on. I need everybody to give me a perception check.
10.
Ooh,
19.
6.
Oh no, God,
17.
4.
12. Same as my passive.
Okay. Give me 1 second here. I need to write things. All right. I apologize for being slightly unprepared for that. Run through those one more time. Ona?
4.
Kaylin?
19.
Tior?
10.
Fab9?
6.
Katori?
Muted.
12.
And Mira.
17.
Okay. You see, Phelan, you see this small child with a loose cap covering most of his face and a thick jacket kind of dart between you all as though he's playing a game of tag. kind of trips for a moment and bucks into Ona's meaty, furry thigh, and then kind of quickly does his head and apologizes and then darts off once more. But you notice that in his left hand is an object that was not there before. It is a relatively fist-sized translucent sphere. Y'all continue on?
I will look at Ona after that and be like, Ona, I think that little kid just took something from you.
He what?
Ona dolts after the kid.
Oh no. Wait, Ona, just let
She's
me
gonna go like
clarify.
twice
This
his
kid just turns
speed.
around and sees a bear.
She's gonna like run in front of him and skid in front of him and just growl at him on all fours.
Okay, so you're giving chase. All right, 1 second. Is anybody else giving chase, or is this just Ona?
I mean, I'll follow Ona.
I mean,
not
yeah.
an attack.
Ona's going
once-
full bore. I'm
once
wondering if
the-
y'all
yeah.
are running or just kind of keeping them in sight. There's a difference.
I'm not running. I'll keep it, I'm not running.
I'm
break a
using
hip if he runs.
a gentle jog. Like I'm taking
Yeah.
the dash action, but I'm only going like 15 extra feet instead of the full 30.
Plus, she's faster than us anyway, so I feel like we're just kind of like, oh no, what are you doing? You know,
I'm
Yeah.
like, Ona,
we're
wait,
not
Better
like,
me.
clarify.
Don't kill him. He's a
Sprint.
kid.
right. Unless he's a bat. If it's a bat again, that's fine. Kill him.
Fuck them bats.
Not faster than
Okay.
me. Yeah, that's he's a bat.
So all of those, whoever decides, and you can continue, and you can stop running at any point. Anybody who is running with Ona, the following applies to you. All right, so as you dart after this kid, he starts bobbing and weaving, and on the left-hand side, then through the passersby in the middle, then the right-hand side, and the bridge is growing steadily and steadily more populated and packed as you get towards the center of the bridge. Running through, you see the kid darts beneath the legs of this long cloak of an individual and pops up on the other side. And as you're charging at him, you see this bald, robe-wearing cleric swinging this incense ball on a chain, making this strong smell in the air. And it's kind of sickening. You dart past him. Everybody running, I need you to give me a Constitution saving throw.
I don't like con saves. That's bad news.
That is a 6 for me.
That's a 20 for me.
That
F.
was
Sure
a nat
fails.
1, which makes it a 2.
That was a nat
Mira
1 that
fails.
makes it a 3.
Ona fails.
So many
You know, I
nat
have a
ones.
+4 to my con saves. I just rolled a nat 2.
Also, I would like to know how this kid is faster than my 60-foot
He's just
speed.
a little guy. He's just a
His
little
legs
guy
are moving
swing.
extremely fast. It's kind of curious, actually.
Oh, it's like he's a bat.
Curious.
I got a
Bad.
total of
Can-
2.
Can I pelt him with a
Wow.
fish?
Oh my lord.
We
Roll's
think
like,
so, 'cause Taylor's the only one that
holy
can get up
fuck.
to.
Okay, so this is 2 strikes and you're out. All of you have 1 fail so far,
Great.
Except
Eight.
from.
except for you
Wait.
failing.
Okay.
Except for you. So you're running,
20
you start
fails.
gagging and doubling over. Vav and I, you're starting to lose them in the distance. You're not running, but they're.
I'm carrying the weight
happens.
of 2
It
patrons.
happens. He really just say that. Yeah, no, I'm used to it. It happens.
All right. So you find your way through that. Phelan, you now have a sizable lead on the rest of your group. That child is still darting ahead. You haven't caught yet. He passes con save. Next challenge ahead, darting to the left and getting in the thicker portion of all the clerics. You see this kind of obese female prophet standing up with a big old sign shouting out, "The end has already happened! We're all dead! This is hell!" And darts around, narrowly avoiding all of you as she's spinning around in a wide circle. I need an acrobatics check from everybody.
You're telling me, sister?
While we're doing this, can I cast message at the boy and just say, like, stop and see if he responds?
Sure, go ahead.
That's an 18 for Ona.
Success.
That's a 4.
2 fails. You get smacked by the sign, you get knocked prone. You are effectively out of this, Tior.
16.
That is hell.
24.
I got 16.
I effectively rolled a nat 1 and a nat 20.
All right. So
I rolled a nat 2 and a nat 3.
Is this just D&D Fall Guys right now?
So apparently, Mira, your acrobatics check?
16.
16. That's a success. You cast a message, you get no response back.
Okay.
All right. The kid ducks underneath the cart and then jumps over a stack of, clambers over and darts on the other side, this stack of jugs. And there's somebody out front who's kind of moving him from one side to another. You have to try and get underneath the cart and vault over again. I need either an acrobatics check or a strength check from all of you, depending on how you're going to negotiate this obstacle.
Oh no.
Until you're out. Vavnai catches up to you and kind of puts his hand out.
Is that acrobatics or athletics?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I just hear Aladdin in my head. Like he's chasing through the
Bluff! That was almost a 17. That's a 9
Ready?
for Ona.
2 fails. Ona,
Can I use my full muster, my full strength? Let's go all out.
do you know what was
Maximum.
stolen?
Maximum effort.
No, I don't. But if some kid stole from me, I would rather him ask permission to use it rather than steal it.
Imagine if it
My
was
my
a
culture
fish.
does not believe in stealing things.
Okay. I will put the ball in your court like I said it would. Just remember that it's always assumed you're giving your normal full effort. This is that surge of lifting a car off of a dying kid as the mom kind of a thing. So if you think this is that important to you, be my guest.
Well, considering Ona wouldn't have stopped to check because like you take the time to stop and check and they're already gone. So Ona is determined to figure out if this kid did take something, what he took, and why.
Yeah, because
Okay.
all I said was, it looks like they took something.
Okay. Well, I'll give you an auto succeed on this one then.
Sweet.
All right. So Ona succeeds. Who else?
I failed.
You failed? Okay. So you stumble
got a
over the
16.
cart and head first into a jug of holy water spilling down on you, failing 16. You succeed. You flip over as Katori lands at your feet, and you continue after Ona. Mira?
15.
15. You also succeed. All right.
It's ladies' night on the town.
So far. All right. So you
This
see
kid is like, it's an apple! It's an apple!
dodging left and right through the legs of all this crowd. You see 3 old frail men grabbing onto these 3 young, strong warlocks and trying to pull them and push them. Sinner! Sinner! Cleanse your body! You have to try and force your way through as the kid darts between the 6 pairs of legs. Everybody give me an athletics check.
I was gonna say, can I just like bowling pin through them, just like bowling ball? Like I am a fucking polar bear, like darting after this kid.
I got
Still-
a 14.
Still an athletics check. That's a success, Phelan.
Oh god.
I got a 6.
That's a fail. You get tangled up and tripped at their feet.
Yes, that was a 19 for 21.
You succeed.
I knocked
Katori?
them all
Oh,
over.
you're out, right, Katori? Okay.
They're all on the floor, wishing that
They
they
get shoved
were
to the
sinners.
side. Tripping Mira on the way, correct? Didn't screw that up. So now it's just Ona and holy crowd. Okay. Halfway there. All right. So you dart through as individual with a cart pulling it out. You see all these scrolls of like holy words and things he's trying to hold up and hawk to the crowd. When you try to dart past him and get on either side, and you do so, but as you blow past him, you hear him mutter his obscene words, and he tries to cast a spell to hold you in place. Make charisma saving throws.
Okay. That's a 17.
That's a success.
Okay.
Would this count as a charm effect?
Yes.
Okay, I have advantage. Okay, that's much better. That's a 22. The other one was
Okay.
a 5.
Good job. You feel the pull on your attention just long enough to freeze for a second, and you see the rest of your group jogging or walking behind you. As so, before you wrench yourself free, he has gained a little bit on you, but you're still charging after him. All of a sudden, out from a tent, this big, burly-looking dude with a hood and long leather coat and leggings takes a stick and swipes at your legs to try and trip you before disappearing once more. I need...
It's planned.
That is a 14 against Ona. I need to know if that's a hit. That's a natural 20 against Phelan.
The 14 will hit.
Okay, so both of you give me dexterity saving throws.
Okay. Oh, this is gonna suck. I already know. Yep, that was a 5.
All right, so you stumble.
At 14.
You succeed. All right,
Oh, God.
so Phelan, Ona stumbles next to you. You are the only one up. You are now darting through this crowd. Obviously, some things are random. This is coordinated. Are you going to continue going, yes or no?
Oh, crap. I'll keep going.
Keep
You're like,
going.
oh no, I'll get it back for you. I promise.
Can I also get back up? Or
You
am I just completely out?
No, you can. You're
Okay.
just
I'm
at
just
this
further
point,
behind.
You're significant ways away. Yeah.
I will
right.
Can I cast Expeditious Retreat on myself and go faster?
Sure. You want to burn a resource to catch up? That's fine.
Yeah, I will. You
Does
betcha.
anybody else want to do anything like that that's behind? I'm just asking.
Everyone's like, nah, it's
I
fine.
don't got shit to do. I'm just going.
I'm pretty sure
I'll-
it's
I'll
just
be
a
there.
freaking fish.
We're gonna have a picnic. It's fine.
I'm convinced it's just one of the 200 fish she just purchased, so I'm not that concerned. I was just trying to help a girl out, you know?
So
Is this kid ever within 10 feet from me?
Hasn't been yet, no.
Okay. Let
Are
me
there
know
any-
when they are.
Are there
Go
any
ahead.
birds around?
Sure. They're floating on the drafts and stuff. They're not like
Good.
nearby at the bridge, but like 100 feet
Well,
up, 200 feet up, something like that.
Enough. No, I need something smaller than that, 30 feet away. Because I have animal friendship. So I'm just like, just keep telling me where they are. Somebody just, come on. Like, I'm talking to the pigeons as they're shit talking to people. I'll toss some bread. Like, come on, you can at least give me a little heads up. Which way was it?
I rolled an 18, so we'll say, yeah, sure. There's a bird nearby. Why not?
Friend, you know, have some bread. Fish. Just, do you mind helping me out? Just, I'm looking for my friends. Big polar bear looking. Mental description, mental image. Push in there. Be like, could you just help guide me? And I'll keep feeding you.
Okay.
I'm slow, y'all. I gotta do what I gotta do. I mean, apparently I'm faster than Tior, but
I'll do
All right.
I'll do
Tior
feline
is
agility
distracted.
Okay. You can get back into it if you want to burn a resource. It just has to be a limited resource. That's the only thing.
It is all right. I'm gonna tell on
That's
myself
fine.
here.
Yeah,
It's limited, but it's
You can recharge it by not moving. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That's fine.
Cool.
Sure. Get y'all into this. All right. So now it's Ona and Phelan and Katori again, right? Okay. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
playing this loose in case y'all haven't figured that out yet. All right. So you three charging through. The kid ducks and weaves and kind of rolls through this group of people standing close together, and then they push outward, and it's almost like this massive prayer circle where they're all chanting and humming together. As you all dart in between trying to make the same route, they kind of squeeze in. I need everybody to give me an intimidation check to break their concentration, so you can escape.
I got another 14.
That's a 16.
Damn, Katori.
All right. I got a nat 1 again.
Okay.
So we're gonna just keep that on the down low.
You all call out, but you are effectively trapped in place right now, Katori, as they jump back away from Phelan and Ona because of the vicious roar and whatever cutting words Phelan used, but then they collapse back around against you. All right. You're starting to get to the end of the bridge. You see it in sight. Over on the right-hand side, the kid darts to the side and starts to head towards what appears to be a wooden ladder or something descending from the side of the bridge. As he runs straight to that, go ahead.
How far away is this child?
It's fluid, mid-range, so between 30 to 60 feet.
Can I cast Frostbite on him?
Yeah, if he's in range, sure.
I would like to cast Frostbite on him. Target must make a con save.
19.
Damn it. He still takes the 6 cold damage, but he does not have disadvantage on any attack rolls in the future.
Okay. You got it. Write that down real quick. In here.
Just attack the child.
Get cold, bitch.
All right. So the blast of cold energy hits him just as he's getting to the edge of the bridge to what appears to be this rope ladder. He takes the hat off with a flourish, and as he turns around, you see this thick, curly beard of a relatively skinny halfling as he salutes you and hops over the wooden ladder down there. As he's doing that, these 3 or 4 warlocks come out, and they're having this competition or celebration or something, conjuring up this inferno of fiery, ethereal creatures. You have to charge right through or go around. I need y'all to give me a dexterity save to avoid getting burned on your way through.
I was gonna say, can I not just jump off the ledge into their like little area, or am I still gonna have to like?
You're not at the ledge yet. You're getting through the ledge. You're getting to the ledge.
So it's dexterity save.
Yep.
Oof, that was a 7 for me.
I'm not lying. I rolled a nat 20.
Nice. So you get singed and burned, and you tumble for a little bit, Ona. Phelan, you make your way all the way to the edge just in time to see the halfling disappear at the bottom of the rope ladder on what seems to be a platform suspended beneath the bridge. And you seem to do it without him even noticing. So, Ona, you get up, you can make your way to Phelan. Everybody else, Bavna, you've been keeping track of them. The rest of your crew, y'all can catch up. Or Phelan, you can try to charge after this kid right now. It's up to you.
I'll wait till Ona. I don't want to lose sight of him. If this is someplace where he could like hide. But I would like to wait for Ona to catch up, and then I want to call out to him and be like, "Hey, you took something. What was it?" And I'll draw my dagger.
As soon as my sickle. Yeah, as soon as I'm able to get up, I'm jumping off of the ledge down to the platform. I'm fully prepared to jump into water, but I'll just pew.
Okay, so you'd have to do this really cool superhero thing where you like jump off, grab the rope ladder, slide down, and kick back underneath the bridge because it's not extending out past the edge of the bridge.
Oh,
it's
okay.
You're welcome to do it. I'm just letting you know how this would look.
Yeah, let's try it. What save do I make? Let's go.
You don't have to make a save. I'll let you do it.
Yeah.
Because you took enough of a beating on that run.
Let's go.
All right, so you two go down, and y'all we're not waiting on anybody else.
I'm not.
I was only waiting on Ona.
Okay.
I think I would be the next closest one, so however long it takes me, and I'll be like...
Y'all lose track of them, but eventually, Vavna, you catch up, and you know that they went down underneath. Before then, though, as y'all are all walking up. As you're all walking up, as soon as your heavy feet slam on the wooden platform below, you see this individual who was kind of tucked in the corner examining the item. You recognize it immediately, Ona, seeing it now. Let me do this thing. You recognize it immediately as he's examining it. It's the fist-sized translucent sphere that you know to be tacky and kind of sticky on the outside. It's your breathing bubble. You lifted it out of your pack.
Thought it was. Before I even know it was taken, when you described it, that's what I thought it was.
As your feet slam down, Phelan next to you, he kind of, with a start, looks up and puts his hands up. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna take it back and just like growl him into a corner.
He keeps backing up, cowering away from you.
What do you want with this?
It's not nice to take things that aren't yours.
I wanted to pass the test.
What test?
From the side, you hear my test. As you look.
As soon as I hear her voice, I take my paw, I slam him against the wall so he's not going anywhere, and I turn evilly to look at her.
It's actually me.
Oh no, it's Soraya back from the dead.
Hello, I am here to kill you all.
You see emerging from the shadows in this long gray cloak with this strange symbol. You don't recognize it, but it definitely bears resemblance to many of the holy symbols you saw out there on the bridge above. Long, dark hair and a little bit of light makeup. It was a test for my potential friends.
Us or him?
And I kind of
Oh,
like
him.
push harder on him.
Him, of course. I have no idea who you are. And I'm very disappointed that he failed. I thought I taught him better than that.
What is your test for? What are you testing them for?
Well, because they want to serve the god of thieves, of course. I apologize. I was so disappointed that I was being rude. My name is Alios, at your service. And she bows, and as she does, her hair goes from the dark brown, blackish color in the shadows to this bright purple. Her cloak changes to this golden flared long dress with a low-cut top and all sorts of jewelry, bangles and rings and necklace and long several earrings. As she comes back up, her eyebrows a light shade of green with distinct pale blue eyes. Alios at your service.
In my brain.
You should teach your students not to steal from the wrong people. That should be lesson number 1.
I think lesson number 1 is to not get caught, but I will take your advice under guidance.
In my brain, can I, like, just kind of ask Makir, not necessarily trying to, like, make a direct connection, but just, like, kind of snail mail. Just be like,
Can I kill her? Or can you do or can you do something about her patron?
Let's see, D100.
Mhm.
36.
36. You send a message and you await a response. There is not one immediately, though.
That's fine. I'm half expecting to see her later. It's fine.
So, I apologize for my rudeness, and I introduced myself. Do you not have manners?
Not after your child stole something from me.
And Ona, like, picks him up with her giant bear claws and, like, chucks him at her.
As he flies through the air, I'm 42! She sidesteps and he tumbles on the ground behind her, conks his head.
He squeaks when he lands.
Little box falls on his head. Starts rubbing it. No harm was done. You have the item, and he failed the test. Surely you aren't that upset about something that didn't happen.
Ona just
Or
gets
are
up
you?
and start walking away. She's not going to pay this person any more mind. She's just going to start walking away.
Okay. Phelan, do you follow Ona?
I will, but I'll keep my hand axe out.
Okay. Ona, that rope ladder is sketchy for someone of your size, but does seem to be made exceptionally well out of some strange fibers that hold it together under the exceptional weight. It's not designed to support.
I'll
You
probably,
make your way up.
I was going to say, I'll probably do like the jump and kind of run up the wall with the ladder help to try to make sure
Got
that...
it.
Well, I'll also make sure that Phelan goes first, too.
Okay.
Don't leave me down here with her.
Last thing you see is you're climbing up the ladder. Elios looks at you, watching you, and then just as you're getting out of sight, you see her turn quickly, her hair flipping around behind her, sharing that bright purple. It's oddly weird. You haven't seen anybody else with purple hair here. She stalks over to this individual with a bump on his head next to the crate before you climb up out of sight. Standing at the top of the bridge, the rest of your party is walking up.
Don't worry.
What the hell was that?
Don't worry, we took care of him.
I'm like wringing holy water out of my clothes. Just
What a lovely brisk morning walk.
That child stole something from Ona, but we got it back. We met this weird lady with purple hair. Not as nice as mine. Down below.
ooh. From my background, would I know this person? From that distinct hair.
give me a history check with advantage.
While he's doing this, I'll also
Sounds like
be
the answer is
described.
yes.
I was gonna say, give me. I'll probably. Ono will probably describe like the connection with thievery
That's
and
a
bullshit.
22 with a nat 20.
Ooh.
You don't know this person directly and have never met them. However, the name Alios and purple hair are rumored at the Tranquil Shadows Sanctuary. There's quite a reputation there. There's an individual by this name who is said to have come to Yon'Cath a few short years ago. You've been in the Shadelands further back than this individual was, but they were able to do what nobody else had been able to do up to that point, which was depose the previous head of what is essentially a glorified religious thievery guild that operates primarily along and out of Patron's Pass and the surrounding area here in Yon'Cath. Alios is also known to be a shapeshifter whom is always looking for the next big score and can't really pass up a feather in the cap, so to speak. Aside from that, they give respect when it's due, and they don't attempt to treat their victims too harshly. They are known primarily for thieving and getting into places they aren't meant to be, more so than actually causing physical harm, outside of the financial sense, of course.
Sweet. All right. So as soon as the purple hair thing goes off, I'm just gonna be like, boom, spill the beans. That was
She was
a
kind
lot.
of rude.
Well, I mean, I guess thieves are kind of rude when they take things. Who isn't?
Not always.
Are you defending thievery, Mira?
No, they're just there to the time and the place. You know, there's a time and place for everything. That's all.
For crime?
For like small crime.
I don't know. I have a pretty black and white morality. If someone was stealing from me, I'd be upset.
You would know. You would know. I know you'd know.
Well, of course I would. That's
Yeah.
beside the point.
That's because you have 2 patrons now. Maybe
That's
focus
right.
on that.
But yeah, so I'll let them know that, you know, they are not violent. They are more of the pursuit of the, you know, of the thrill of and the stealing for monetary or whatever. But they are kind of respectful, and that is the leader of the Thieves Guild in Yon'Cath.
I mean, if she just tries to touch all my stuff again with her greedy little minion paws, then she's gonna get a new one ripped to her. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I will tell you from what I know is they do like a challenge, and you just made one for them. So don't be surprised if they come back.
It's okay, I'll just eat the next one.
I mean, did you want to meet her? She's probably still down the ladder.
No, I'm okay.
Okay. Well,
I'm sure our paths will cross again.
well, she was a little bit rude, but at least she didn't insist that we fight her or something for the item that the kid stole. Looked like she was gonna go give him a talking to.
The 42-year-old kid.
Yeah.
That's why you're so
Shall we-
fast.
Shall we keep going? We're so close to the Sacred Hearth.
You actually passed the Sacred Hearth.
Yeah.
We've passed the Sacred Hearth because we were too busy chasing after this child.
You're like
who's actually
90% of the
42
way
years
across the bridge.
Well, no one said you had to come with us, Teor.
old. What if you're in danger?
I'm a bear.
What if my sister were in danger?
I'm a bear.
Good point, good point. Carry on.
You
I
made
will-
great points.
I will say,
You're
Joey,
the best
once
to
we
spare.
I was gonna say, Joey, once we go back, if I can find another bag, essentially what I want to do is I want to find a place where I could buy a second bag and put my bag in that bag, but put it backwards so that if someone tries to steal something, it's just a little bit harder.
So you look like a tourist.
Yeah,
Sure.
pretty much. Put my backpack inside a backpack, but you don't know which pocket it's in.
No, that's fine. That should be easy enough. Just remind me when you're off of the bridge.
Okay, cool. But yeah, we'll
Are we
go to
turning
the hearth
around?
first.
Or are we
I
just
don't
coming
know.
back?
I think that we should guard our pockets, though, the rest of the time while we're on here.
For sure.
I am clutching my medallion with both hands.
Ona's like, way ahead of you, and she's like holding her bag like in her arms, but then she's also holding her like fish pouch closed.
I have a question. Just because I don't think it was ever specifically stated, and I don't want to assume anything. Which character had the scroll from Corin?
I did.
Mira did.
Mira.
It was Mira.
Oh god.
Wait, I looked. Do I still have it?
Why would you suddenly look?
Because everything's being stolen.
Okay. Give me an investigation check.
Mira as a
Everybody check
thief.
their pockets.
Mira as a thief herself would be like, oh, thievery, I should check all my stuff.
Sure, we can retro justify it. Sure.
Yeah,
it's
please.
fine.
Wait, what am I doing? Investigation?
Mm-hmm.
Investigation. 21.
Okay. You dig around in the position you left it, and at first it's not there, but that's because some things got shuffled when you got knocked, and it's there.
I'm putting it to the very, very bottom. Very bottom.
Okay.
The hardest to get to.
I'm going to see Mira checking her stuff, and I'm just going to make sure that I still have my rapier and my tankard.
Okay. Yeah.
I thought you were going to start counting your gold.
No.
Great
Oh,
idea.
no. And that's where
Not
we end
here
the
on the
session.
street. I can't do that in public. Don't worry.
He counts the gold and 60. Wait a minute, and the session ends.
Cliffhanger.
Well, now we do have a, you have a loophole now. You have escape.
I know. I'm very excited about it. I can't wait to do a deception check in about 10 minutes. So are we going back, or are we just going to continue on and circle back at some point?
Well, some of us
I mean,
wanted to go there, so we can just go back.
Yeah, it's alright. But we're closer now than we ever will be again. We might as well.
All right. I'm down to circle back.
Come on, Vabnaya, get your steps in.
Oh, I climb on the back of Ona. Like, just hold me.
We need to get Vavnai some gel inserts.
Oh, new knees, new
Magellan.
inserts. I need a horse.
We need to get
I
him
need
a flying
horse.
nimbus.
All right,
I
we're
need
like
a flying
hyper
magic carpet.
for sure. I think we're just pretty vigilant about our things on this walk back. So everyone just watch your shit.
I imagine Vavnine to be like, you know those old school, like, inflatable Velcro walls where you jump and you stick? Where you, like, wear the Velcro suit and you, like, run and...
Yep.
I imagine that's
exactly
how
it.
Vavnine just climbs up Ona, just like, alright. I'm fine, because Ona's on
No.
2 paws.
No, you have a permanent, like, baby harness for an old man.
I got that saddle.
You got that
leg.
saddle. Yeah.
Okay. So y'all head back to Patron's Pass? Alright. So, make your way back through the raucous crowds. Some of the things that... You get some dirty looks, those of you who tripped and busted into people and stuff as you make your way back.
I was gonna say, do we recognize them and can I snarl at them?
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, they were just doing their thing. Well, except for the one that intentionally tripped you, but yeah, go ahead. You're getting jeers and dirty looks from those people you disturbed or ruined and so on along the way. But give or take 5-10 minutes of walking, you worm your way back through the crowd. And here at the center of Patron's Pass, facing south, you see a long stone archway, and on the other side, large semicircular courtyard with the scarlet hearth, and behind it that large waterfall dumping into the obsidian rush with those spidery, deep red arcane fissures in the slag behind it. Walking forward a few steps, you make your way onto the bridge, and immediately you see several guards on either side and stand in front of you. They cross halberds and everything, and one stands up. State your business.
None of yours.
Can't pass unless you have specific business at the Scarlet Hearth.
I shove Tior, Phelan, and Mira and Katori up to the front.
I'm here to connect with my patron.
Yes, I think we all have some business here.
I'm here to support my sister. I know we don't actually look that much alike, but we are genetically siblings.
Aye. So you're all warlocks then, huh?
I hold up my medallion. Newly.
Oh, oh, he's that kid, all right.
He seems to be waiting for responses.
Yes, I'm a warlock.
I prestidigitation a little tiny firework show right in front of his face, and it's literally just a little bear paw, and inside the little bear paw it says, "Duh."
Wait, while that happens, can I touch Katori's hand and cast invisibility?
That's way too late now. Don't do that.
While he's distracted.
I should take him. I guess we should take him behind the corner or something and just tell him that you're gonna go away.
I think that ship is sailed. You're kind of out in the open here.
No.
How many of them are there, out of curiosity?
4.
Yeah.
4 cards? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I will do dancing lights and make them all come in one orb, then float around his head, and then come back to me.
Mm. You doing anything, Vavnai, or no?
Yeah, I turn into him.
Turn into who? The guard?
The guard. With the casting disguise self.
Okay. Warlocks it is. All right then, quit showing off. I get it. You're all new here, eh?
We are. We have fresh faces.
Ups and downs, yeah. I can smell it on you. All right. Well, you're gonna have to see the gatekeeper. That's right, the gatekeeper. He's to check you out.
Are you not
are you?
literally keeping the gate right now?
Well, right, but I am. But he's the gatekeeper. I'm just keeping the gate. You follow? You savvy? Ups and downs. Ups and downs.
Ups and downs.
All right, we would love to be just gatekeeper.
Fused.
Yeah, where's the gatekeeper?
All right, right over here. Right over here. And he steps forward. The other 3 kind of come together, and he ushers you over to the right. And you see a small stone pathway that, once again, goes off to the side and underneath the bridge. Except this doesn't go into like a hastily or a ramshackle built wooden suspended platform. This seems to have been a room that was built into the stonework of the bridge itself. As he motions you forward, you see in here there's 5 or 6 round tables with 3 or 4 chairs each, and you see several accursed guard, probably 10, 12 of them or so in here. Many of them are kind of sitting in the chairs, eating, drinking, throwing dice, etc. And as you walk to the front, he calls out, "Hey, gatekeeper, we got some new warlocks here to see the people at the Scarlet Hearth. Yeah, I said they'd speak with you to get permission. Right here." You see him kind of smile, and then he walks back away. And you see this. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, as he walks away, I do prestidigitation twice again, and it's fireworks in front of his face as he kind of turns around and starts walking away and like walks past all of us. And it's just a little fireworks show of a butt that farts, and then prestidigitation, the smell of a fart, as he walks through it.
Okay. He walks through and it happens and he gags a little bit. Oh, it's not funny. All right? It's not funny.
Can I?
It's not. And he continues walking up the steps.
Can I make an insight check to see that exchange between him and the gatekeeper? Does it seem like something is not quite right? Like either he's joking or he's like is this? Does it seem like standard procedure for someone new?
Go ahead and make an insight check.
That is a 14.
Okay. Well, I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head. You can't tell if they're screwing with you or if it's kind of like a shakedown or if they're just trying to pick on you a little bit or maybe get you to turn around and go back. You don't know the intent, but this definitely does not seem as regimented and formal as your previous dealings with the accursed guard in any way, shape, or form.
Got it. I'll just keep one hand sort of on my medallion and the other hand on my belt, very close to my rapier hilt.
Okay. You see, this really, really tall guard stands up. His armor, though, like you're used to dealing with the people around Lieutenant Jaren and them, and their armor is always highly polished unless they were in the middle of a fire or something. But this is kind of scuffed, kind of ramshackle, falling off, and he's kind of pressing out. His girth is expanding in some places it shouldn't in this thing. As he stands up and he kind of adjusts the belt up underneath the cuirass. You may not look it, but you have the stink of warlock on you, all right. Come here so I can take your registration.
Actually, it's probably the smell of fish, but I mean,
I will go to the back of the line. Well, in front of Katori, probably. I don't quite know what you're doing.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm also in the back, so we'll tussle. See who gets
I'll
that.
go first.
I'll go behind Phelan.
Okay.
Oof. 3's not a good number.
All right.
I also rolled a 3 if we're competing.
Yeah, but so you guys are rolling for place. That's not super critical at this moment. So y'all are going in though to he's standing behind the center table in the room, and now the entire room is looking at you, and more than a couple of them have these kind of curious, amused grins on their faces. Okay, so you make your way in, and you kind of fan out a little bit behind him as he sits down. He says, all right. Well. The Scarlet Hearth, is it? All right. So I need your name, and there's a 5 gold piece entry for each for upkeep of the temple and things, to pay the guard work, required of everybody.
Do we believe him even a little bit?
Make an insight check.
I am watching anyone
15.
who's making an insight check. I am watching their face closely to see what they do, and the second they kind of like, I want to do something.
Okay.
So 15.
15. He has really, really foul smelling breath, and although it's hard to believe, I mean, you're not from here. You don't really know.
I didn't know if everyone was going to be rolling or not, so.
And you could roll with advantage if you want. You already rolled once, so you can roll again. Or one other person can roll, I guess. Either way.
I want to like elbow Mira and kind of like head nod. Like, what do you think?
All right, I'll do my second. Oh, nat 20.
Nat 20. Okay. So as Ona catches your attention, nodding you a little bit, you look back, and just as you do, you see him kind of winking over your shoulder at another one of the guards, and you know something's bullshit.
I just make the face back to Ona. Like,
Ona
yeah,
throws a
that is-
fish at his head.
What? Oi! What?
I pull my sword, not in an accusatory way, but just shink. Just to have it out.
All right, Governor, calm down.
We're not here to
Calm
play
down.
games, sir.
Put the blade away before you get yourself in a mess of trouble. God, just having a bit of fun with you.
That's not fun. That's called teasing.
While we were sitting here, I'd like to be casting silent as a ritual. Silence.
Jesus God.
Okay. You got
Just
it.
for fun.
I'm pretty sure that rituals require some type of visual
Yeah. I'm gonna
glyphs and
just, like,
things.
And like
my-
10 minutes.
Yeah.
He's
well,
drawing it on
if we
Ona's
don't
back.
Finish it. I'm just like drawing it underneath me.
Okay, as long as you, I was just making sure you understand that this would be clearly visible to everybody around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not like
Slowly
your
drawing.
Full Metal
Okay.
Alchemist circle here.
All right. Everybody, give me a perception check, also.
Four.
20.
3.
You are focusing on your ritual.
Nat
all
1.
right.
Okay.
I got a 10.
Right there with you, girl. Nat 1.
Okay, so wait, what were they? Because I could have swore I heard
10's the
something higher. But I
highest.
guess not.
10's the
10's
I
the
got a
highest.
10.
Top 10 is the highest.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
also-
good because
How do we
Go ahead.
all roll nat? How many nat 1s have we had this freaking session?
it's one of
I've
those
had
sessions.
3 myself.
That's okay. I was just trying to see exactly how distracted you all would be in this circumstance, being surrounded by these people trying to screw with you, shake you down, whatever they are. Okay, so who rolled the 10? Because I missed that. Of course you did. You're the most perceptive one, obviously. Okay, so on the back right corner, while it's yours got the blade out and Ona's throwing a fish, on the back right corner, you see there is a squarish table kind of shoved up against it. And on this table, you see a relatively decently sized sack of coin. Well, not sack of coin, stack of coin. And you also see a couple of, well, for all intents and purposes, the best you can figure, they appear to be magical items. One of them is a necklace that is kind of in the shape of an hourglass. And the other one is kind of like a really, really short tube. Except it's a dazzling array of colors and weird shapes that seem to kind of shift as the light catches it and you look at it. Very interesting. Hey, all right, look. Another guy steps in. We're just having some fun with you. We get a little bored down here. The newcomers, we like to give them a hard time. Welcome them right, you know. You know.
No, I don't know. Do you want another fish to the face, or do you want to move on with this process?
All right.
We have had a
Look.
very long day. Several breakfasts worth of long.
So
All right.
many
we don't,
apples.
We don't mean no harm. We don't mean no harm. All right. Look, how about this? How about you humor us, right? We make a little wager. You give us some fun. We stop shaking you down, and then you go on your way, and everybody's richer in one way or another.
Or if you want, I can use my giant big bear paws and we can make a wager that way, and then we can be on our way. How would you like to do this, sir?
I'll make a wager with you.
Oh, see, the gentleman has some taste.
My game,
Your game.
if that's alright.
Well, all right, but then we're gonna follow it up with my game.
That's quite alright. Do you like to drink?
I can drink.
I pull out my tankard. Last one conscious wins.
All right, but then we play my game.
You got it.
We shake on it.
I shake on it.
Shake on it. Anybody else want to play the game? You get two more guards come over. What about you all? Play his game and my game.
I'm
do you all?
keeping my eye on you.
As Ona's just like slapping her hand with a fish. Ona's got Tior's back right now.
Is anybody else going to partake, or is everybody else just going to watch?
I'm watching.
Do I have to partake to play his game?
Probably not.
Okay, then I'll just wait.
I'm just gonna bet 1 gold piece on on Tior.
Hey, that gold looks familiar.
No, I already spent yours, buddy.
All right. Katori, you going to do anything besides ritual? Are you still casting that?
Not anymore, because it's gonna go off before we were gonna leave. I was gonna leave it as a present, but
Okay, so you stop the ritual and scratch it out with your foot a little bit.
yeah, I'm gonna like just diddle with scribble on it. But no, I'm not gonna partake, but I will take out my personal deck of cards as I'm watching.
Okay. All right. Everybody up and everybody, all 3 of the guards put up a single gold. And Mira's got a gold on Tior. Tior, you need to put up at least 1 gold to play.
I will put up 2 gold to show my confidence.
All right. Good. So, what's your game, Tior?
Do you have any alcohol on the premises, gentlemen?
Is a fish wet? And he looks over to the fish that's on the floor, the dead fish, and they go over and there's a keg on the side. They go each get a mug and they pour some ale in it.
I will pour some ale into my tankard as well. I'll
Okay.
bring it back to the table. We go, all right, shot for shot, all of us at the same time. Last one conscious wins.
And we know how this ends. Yeah.
But the audience doesn't.
We know how this ends. They do. They've been watching. Okay,
I
so
think that was pre-stream.
was it?
Yeah.
No.
It was.
That was pre-stream.
That was pre-stream.
Okay.
Otherwise,
All
Ona
right.
would have put down money too.
So I'm gonna roll a couple d20s here. All right. The one's out the first round. You can make your Constitution saving throws if you want to.
I'm actually can I make performance checks so I can act a bit drunk?
Sure. I like that.
12. My performance check.
I feel like at some point you should get advantage because they're super wasted.
Well, they aren't the only ones there.
Right.
That's fair.
This-
Okay.
Okay. So the first one goes out in the first round. Apparently, he had been drinking already. The second one takes 3 rounds. All right. The last one gets up to 5 rounds. And then you see people muttering around. They rolled 18 on their insight check. And they're like, hey, wait a minute. Something's fishy here.
As soon can I observe to see if anyone else is noticing?
There's murmurs going around, yes.
Cool. I'm gonna look at everyone murmuring, and I'm just gonna kind of walk around with my fish.
Fishy, huh?
If I hear people murmuring, I'll slam the drink down and go, I'll be honest, I'm acting a bit more drunk so your men don't seem so embarrassed, but I'm not even feeling it.
Give me a deception check. And Ona, are you trying to intimidate them with fish?
Yes, I am. I'm trying to intimidate them
Give
with
me an
my
intimidation check.
bullseye hit earlier.
So, is this deception or persuasion? Technically, I'm telling the truth, but I am deceiving them.
Oh, I'll let you be the call. Go ahead.
What's up with all of these rolls? I swear. That was a 3, a total for 6.
And I have a 16 persuasion.
Okay. Well, Ona, you told me your score first, and I rolled a 6 against that. So they're still suspicious, but they're not talking openly anymore. I rolled a 18 against your 16.
Yeah.
Is that what it was? All right.
Yeah.
The ones on the other side are murmuring. You hear them behind you, Tior, even though the ones by Ona are silent. Oh no. Are you trying to pull a fast one?
What, like you were earlier? Drink up. Glug, glug.
He takes the last shot. He holds up for a second, then he just kind of, I'm gonna bake, and face plants on the floor. Everybody around him, oh, come on, that's bullshit. He's a bunch of caca. He's cheating.
I'm literally going to, like, down on all fours, yell and roar at them.
Okay, well, they're already on edge, so they back up away from you, and they fall silent instantly. So gold's on the table. The other three are passed out to you.
Yeah, so how much gold do I get?
You would get 1 for 1. So, well, everybody put up their gold, so they all get their 3 gold. You'd have, well, no, they'd have to give you your bet and Mira their bet. So, yeah, Mira, you get 2 gold, Tior, you get 4, and then you get their 3.
Cool.
They're all silent. They're all backed up, and they aren't like scared. They look aggravated, pissed, but they're not doing anything.
Alright, friends, initiation's over. Let's move on and get this over with so that we can figure out all the reasons we're here and then leave. We've had a long day and I'm not ready for more bullfish.
What's everybody doing?
Is the main guy who said that we were going to play his game after, is he unconscious right now?
Mm-hmm.
He was the first one out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that there's a treasure hoard, so I'm ready to walk out.
Yep.
Yep.
No
Let's
one
go.
else? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
So y'all turn and walk out?
I mean, if they're not going to stop us.
Well, he's passed out. What's he gonna do?
Well, he's
Yeah,
lackeys.
They're not gonna stop you. They don't seem to be, anyways.
Great.
Okay.
Owen is muttering
Alright.
the whole time as we're walking out. This was
Frickin' joke. We came here for a specific reason. We got played like that, but then you're playing back and it was great, but still a waste of time.
All right. Well, standing out on the landing now, the guards that had originally stopped you are staying on their sides. They're kind of snickering amongst each other like they know you got. And you continue walking on that central platform towards the Scarlet Hearth. You get about halfway there, and there's warlocks and a cursed guard passing by on either side. They're very, very odd cleric, but none of these clerics are rambunctious or loud or confrontational. They're just quietly going about their business, it seems. And as you make your way about halfway there, you see the red fissures on the gray slag cliff behind it kind of pulse and then flicker in 3 quick blasts, and then they grow dim. And then this arc of red light pierces up from the top of the Scarlet Hearth into the aurora, and then a rainbow of colors disperses out in a wave, and shockwave disperses the aurora. It continues to wave, but it does it like in a pattern that's flexing with the energy that gets pushed out into it. And then the clouds grow dark and rumble. Slightly stings your skin, but then it begins to kind of warm you. Once that feeling fades, the rain itself, the water, now drenching you as you continue now hurriedly making your way towards the Scarlet Hearth. The wind picks up and you start to get a chill breeze down to your bone as your wet clothes soak up all that cold air. Standing here at the base of the Scarlet Hearth now, it towering above you 2 levels, and it's kind of almost pyramid shaped. You see the doors fly open, and a confident, beautiful elvish woman in green armor, resplendent with a shield on her side, strides out towards you and looks at you and cocks a curious eyebrow. That's where we're going to end tonight's session at.
Oof.
Joey's
Thank God for a tankard of sobriety.
Is this going to be Tio's new love interest?
Yeah, that's my wife.
Always.
Joey's
Everyone
pulling out
has a
all of the interesting women with colorful hair today.
Well, they're
They're
Her
all
not.
armor, her
eagles.
armor was green, not her hair.
Oh, well, all of the interesting colors.
Her hair was magenta. Keep up.
Her hair was a soft lavender color. Okay.
Tiora was taking notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's a love interest, and the main character needs,
He won her
Right.
heart by winning the drinking challenge.
The drinking
I'm
challenge
curious.
nobody knows about.
Yeah, I'm curious now, Joey. What was their wager? What was their game going to be? All right,
he
that's
can't
fair.
say because
They'll
obviously
play it
they're
later
still
with us
gonna
with
come
some
get
other
you
I was gonna
later
say we're
to
gonna
go
find
play.
out
Yeah.
later with
Yeah.
another group.
Yeah, when they're not passed out and we're walking back.
I don't know.
Oh, we never looked at that table with magic items because Lexi
Yeah,
was
I
the only
know.
one that saw it.
I had
Well,
a passive of 12. That's not fair.
I was not about to take those and have those guards come after us. Sorry, not sorry.
We appreciate that.
Well, and that's
I
why I
would've
asked what were
definitely.
y'all gonna do, because I know Vavnai said he wanted to play the other game, and then y'all decided to leave. So I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
We'll leave.
Yeah,
Definitely-
I mean, if it pursued
Well, the other
into-
game didn't happen. They were unconscious.
No, that's fair. I mean, they weren't the only ones there who could have played the game, but that's fine.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, I definitely just
100%
didn't
fine.
want to take those. I'll probably mention them later, just in case we happen to leave. I'll be like, hey, just so you know.
Yeah, and then Mira will take them, and then we will have regrets later.
Use that invisibility now.
Exactly. I know. I was like, oh shit, I forgot I had invisibility.
Now you know it. Now we can use it for everything.
Yeah, get ready, guys. I'm just gonna play with it. And you're invisible.
Guys.
And now you're invisible.
I can Fey Presence, and tomorrow I can Dark One's Blessing.
Great.
I'm a warlock.
You're a
You're
warlock.
warlock. No need for a patron anymore. Just give up
We're
on
good.
all of your hopes and dreams. You're
It's
fine.
close enough. It's
Yeah.
close enough.
The
It's
man
like-
of the model.
You're
It's like
a warlock
Corvettes,
second
Corvettes,
weapon.
Chevettes.
The wannabe lock?
Until someone asks, "What's your patron's name?" It's like
His name's Gary,
Gary.
thank you.
Gary.
No, nameless.
I know. I can't wait to
Gary.
get the other one's name. You know.
Gary. Oh man. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're streaming next week. Sammy will not be with us next week. Correct?
Mm.
That is
Damn.
correct. I
No
see
Gary.
the pretty lady at the door, and I am overcome and speechless.
Hill.
For approximately 4 hours. All right, y'all. We are going to raid. I think we're going to raid Ink and Lear. And yeah, so do the raid thing. Thank you for coming tonight. Be sure to follow us on YouTube in case you miss any of tonight's session. Or I know that there's probably a lot of people doing Thanksgiving stuff this week, so you can catch it after the fact. We got all the social medias. We got the extra life. We got the Discord. We got all that stuff. So we love you guys. We will see y'all next week. Take care of yourselves. Stay cool. Stay calm. Stay kind. Catch y'all next time. Bye, everybody.